Hit that. All right, we're live. Welcome to the Best Damn Podcast. Sit down interview with Pete. How do you pronounce your last name?
Dalke.
Peter Dalke, a.k.a. the host, the Juggernaught of mental health. The Juggernaught of mental health. And the host of the popular podcast we've seen all over the place, all over YouTube, Facebook, part of the Oracle Talk Radio Network, Pete versus Anxiety. Pete, how are you doing today?
Doing great, man. Thanks so much for having me here. I appreciate you.
Now, your podcast, it's Pete versus Anxiety. Is this like, dealing with your anxiety, or is this mental health in general?
It's basically what the podcast idea is. It's Pete versus anxiety. It's like, I deal with anxiety every day. So I was thinking one day, I was like, hey, it just hit me, Pete versus anxiety, because every day I battle my anxiety, so it's basically creating a safe space for mental health to be discussed about, because obviously it's not talked about enough. I don't care if people tell you it's not talked about enough. It's extremely popular since the first time I even said they gave an idea even out loud. As you can see on the Oracle Talk Radio Network, they reached out to me in the beginning of the phases of the show and were like, hey, we're starting a new network. Would you be interested? And I was like, well, I'm very honored. I just don't have anything recorded, which is funny because it was just like, all I did was put this idea out here. And all of a sudden, that's next thing you know, I got them knocking at the door like, hey, listen, do you want to be a part of this thing? I'm like, sure. Why not? Let's go for it. And it's been a great ride ever since.
So that's how you got on Oracle Talk. We've had Ian Hurling. He's from Oracle Talk Radio as well. We've watched a lot of you guys too. I mean, that's becoming a big network on the podcast streaming with Facebook and YouTube and whatnot. It's starting to take off a lot.
Yeah.
And
definitely.
We got approached a while back about possibly joining it, but we don't have any sponsors, and it's like we're paying everything out of our own pocket. So it's like we're looking for a sponsor before we join something like that. But mental health is we got a saying on the show, mental health is fucking key.
Mm-hmm.
Because everyone's dealing with it at some point. We have listeners who watch the show. Either they're going through a bad breakup, they've lost their job, they've lost a loved one, It's tough, and unfortunately, it's one of the big things in this world we ignore.
You're 100% correct on that part. It's not that we ignore it; it's the fact that we sweep it under the rug. We say, okay, well, this issue is here, so let's just sweep it under the rug. Let's forget about it, because you see it mentioned a lot of times, like school shootings. Okay, well, mental health's a problem. Okay, so it's like you can't do that because it's an issue people deal with, and a lot of people don't want to talk about their own mental health issues because they're afraid for how people are going to respond to them. So that's the great thing about Pete versus Anxiety is that I invite people to come on and share your stories, because you can come tell me pretty much anything. And I've heard some wild things. We're at least almost 200 episodes already now, and the year's not even done yet, of just things that people have come and told me about. And I've had like different professionals. I've had actual people come and tell stories. I've had different best-selling authors. I think the last author I had was like a 6-time best-selling international author. And it's just amazing that, the things that you hear from these people when you start getting talking. And the great thing is that it's not really an interview. It's more like having a conversation with a friend, because you tend to get more information out of people versus just drilling them with questions. You're just having a casual conversation with them about, their different areas of things they were in. And then you hear a lot of their backstories of things. It just gets really interesting what a lot of these people have gone through to get to where they're at now.
How long have you been on the air?
Since September 15th of last year. So we're not even a full year into this thing already, and we're already past at least 125 episodes live, closer to almost 200, I think, by the end of the year. I know between now and October, closer to November, we're almost fully booked out on Mondays. I think I'm missing only one date from that right now currently. It could be wrong, as I haven't looked at my calendar since then, but I've got like 73 interviews at least. I can tell you that much between here and there. And I do know, like this week, I have an ex-NFL star coming on. He used to play for the New Orleans Saints in the 90s. So, he's going to be interesting to hear what he's got to say, because now he does a lot of work with young guys, and things like that. I've had a whole large list of people coming.
So what you're saying is eventually we're going to hear you on Sirius Talk Radio or something like that. You're going to be like the next.
You never know. It's very possible. I'm heard in like 13 different countries currently that I know of. think my biggest market so far on YouTube is the UK. A lot of times pops up. I know heard as far as Australia because I do have a couple friends that live there in New Zealand and things like that. I get heard in that area a lot of times too by a lot of people. So it's really not shocking when someone comes to me and says, or all right, hear my name being said on a lot of podcast episodes that I've actually interacted with one of the people, and the other person didn't know that I knew them too. So it's always funny to hear your name when it appears. It's so surreal though because it's like all I'm doing is creating the conversational space of that mental health needs to talk about more because people aren't talking about it enough. Like I said, like we can't say that enough that we are not talking about enough problems. If you look at the statistics though, men are 80% more likely to have suicide by death be listed on their death certificates. And think about it, that's like 5 of your friends, 3 of them aren't going to be there the next day because we don't want to talk about these problems.
Right. It's really crazy because men are more likely to commit suicide either based upon marriage situations, their job. I mean, and it's so. I mean, we're starting to see more and more that get recognized in society. Because when we were growing up, I mean, I grew up in the 80s and 90s. I'm guessing you probably grew up around the same time. We were taught, be strong, don't show emotion, suck it up, man up, get over it, that kind of stuff. But sometimes that kind of stuff it just doesn't do enough. And men are very good at hiding their emotions. That's why women sometimes look at us like, are you closing me off? Are you, being quiet? I myself have dealt with that kind of stuff too,
Yeah. No, so. And it's really not shocking, honestly, man. We as men don't talk about it. And those are the reasons why, though. A lot of times we're ashamed too. Think about it that way. A lot of people are like, oh, no, you're a man. You have to be the strong alpha male. My thing is that I push is that, like, think about it. Like, wouldn't an alpha male be the person that can talk about their feelings? Like, if you're going to be the top dog and everyone wants to be you, why can't you talk about your feelings? You could be great in all these other areas. But when it comes to this one, we are lacking that bad. We look up, because we as men look at everything in a tower system. So we're always constantly looking up. So why are we not looking up at the correct alpha male, not the supposed alpha male who can't handle talking about his feelings and things like that too, because, that's the issue is that we're not talking enough. It's scary too, because young men, their rates are going up too. I think they went up like, what is it? When the internet was, when social media itself was very inception. I believe one of my guests, we and him were discussing it. He said, I think his number said it's like 20-something% or something. Young males' sides raised up instantly the minute social media was there because now you got to think that now you can harass people even more. Yeah. Now you hit them from all these different angles. And you can still start cyberbullying them and things like that too. Not only can you hit them on these video games, you can hit them on social medias and all these other things. You're not limited to the phone or looking at somebody eye to eye like we grew up. We had, I think AOL was the first thing that we got, and like, that was your first big way to start talking shit to other people. But now it's like, ugh.
Well, and we're seeing a lot more of that. Like, there's kids that it's really sad when you have kids who are bullied on social media. There was several high school kids I remember years ago that they would get bullied at school and then bullied on social media, and they would just unfortunately go and they would opt out. And it's not just, young children, or, young adults that are just, least popular. There's a streamer years ago. His name was Rectful, and he was dealing with mental health issues, and he was harassed online, and he committed suicide.
Yeah.
And everybody sat there when they heard about that. They were like, we didn't know he would do that. We didn't. It's always seems to be the one you least expect also.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's a scary conversation. It's the last person you expect. You have no idea this person feels this way. And when it comes online too, man, that's the thing too, is it's really hard. There was a guy named King Scratch I used to watch all the time, and he was on Twitch a lot. He'd always make comments about that. People that ask him about his personal life, and he's like, yeah, in the back scene, he's like, you don't realize how many people are saying so much heinous things to me.
Oh yeah.
And in the comment sections, and it's always something stupid. Like, what is it? The girl that was cosplaying Naruto a couple of years ago that they were just violently attacking because, oh, well, you're not the right ethnicity for this. And she's like, I'm like, what does it matter, dude? people have been cosplaying all these years. What the hell does it matter what one person's doing? Like, you're that moved or that mad because this person did something and they were very proud of what they did. And they want to show everybody what they did, that you have to sit there and threaten their life. Like, get over yourselves. Like, what the hell is going on with society that we've decided to be so hateful towards each other for no reason?
They were threatening the streamer just because they were cosplaying as an anime character and claiming they weren't the right ethnicity.
Oh yeah, you don't remember that with the young lady that came on? She happened to be African American, and somebody got mad because she wasn't perceived white, because like Naruto characters, everybody pretty much the same color in most of these shows. It's like they're Asian or what? What the hell does it matter, really, dude? Doesn't really matter what their ethnicity is. Are you going to get mad at everybody that goes out and cosplays? What are you going to go to Comic-Con and start hating everybody?
Are you going to get mad at every person that cosplays as Superman because they're not Kryptonian?
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just stupid as shit possible. It's like, why do we continue to hate each other? And during the time of doing this show, man, I got to be a part of a panel with the Holocaust survivor. Now, mind you, Ryan, this man is sitting there telling us that he's watched 10-year-old kids get thrown in pits of fire and things like that. And his only message to the world was everybody love everyone, because, he's like, at the end of the day, he's like, after all this crap he's seen, all the fan members he lost, that was this man's positive message. And I was like, damn, that's insane. Like, how is it that you feel that way? And, he's right there in front of us answering these questions. And it's the craziest thing ever, because, he's been through 2 prison camps. He went through Auschwitz itself. He knew the guy that was one of the top guys for most like murders. I can't remember exactly how he put it, but he said he was friends with the one of his nephews or something. But he's like, I didn't hate his nephew for something his uncle did. I didn't hold him accountable for his actions. And it's like, why can't we apply that same shit to today's thing? And it doesn't make any sense. Like, why do we constantly have to hate on each other and they're going to be toward everybody for whatever reason you come up with? It's usually the stupidest reason, honestly.
Do you find that maybe the reason... I want to get back to this cosplayer real quick, and now I want to touch on the Holocaust survivor. What was the cosplayer's name again that got bullied?
God, I don't remember what her name was. It was a couple of years ago, though. She was on like TikTok and a bunch of other things, and she was posting the video. She played his what the hell character she did? I think she did Hinata from Naruto. I believe is one she picked. But it was a young African American girl that was on there, and she was so excited to show everybody how well she put everything together. And people were getting so mad and threatening her because, oh, you're not the right ethnicity. I'm like, whoa, okay, hold on. Why are we getting so mad at this young lady for this reason, And then recently it was, what is the girl that had the prom dress that was, I think it was prom, but she had the Naruto themed dress. Of really cool, actually, to see. And then people are still hating on that too. I'm like, y'all, there's just something wrong with you all today. What the hell is wrong with you all? Y'all woke up to shows violence today.
I mean, so they're fans of Naruto. I mean, I got nowhere to talk. I'm fans of Transformers here, but it's like they're fans of a franchise. They like it. Why let them dress up and celebrate it the way they celebrate it? I mean, you're talking about a TV show. That's about it.
Remember Bob Burgers did touch on it too. Remember when Tina was big into their My Little Pony version of everything. Everybody discovered what a brony was. For a lot of people, didn't know what that was.
Right.
And all the bronies were like the older guys were making it like singling out. It's kind of like that. It's just stupid. It's like, really, look at yourselves. You're mad at somebody because they put together this great costume. They wanted to show you all. Her biggest mistake was putting it on the internet. Of course, that's what everybody else does. She's like, hey, I want to do the same thing too. And then you all are that mad at her because, she's not fitting the part completely. It's like, come on, man. Like, really? Have you seen some of these cosplayers? Like, they don't have to be in the greatest shape to do these things. No. And they have amazing costumes, and you don't hear nobody hating on them. You don't hear nobody saying nasty things to them, saying, oh, well, I'm going to go kill yourself, and all these other stupid shit people are saying. It's like, get over it, man. Like, leave this poor girl alone. She did a fantastic job. Hats off to you. Looks great. That's all you got to say. Why do you have to bring in negativity and start attacking people because you don't like what they do?
Well, and another thing, too, is ever since the creation of social media, you've had the, anonymous veil of, being able to do this stuff from a keyboard or a cell phone.
Yeah.
While that person is, on the other side of the country.
Right.
Do you think that something like that, it's kind of like a cover for their own issues that they have? Like they're sitting there, oh, this girl looks great as Naruto, but I did a horrible job with mine. I'm going to just, pick on them and all that stuff. And
It
that's
could be
what
like,
it's all about.
they're just not happy with something in their own lives. They feel like they need to take it on other people, or they could be narcissistic. Though, remember now, you got to remember, narcissists love picking on people and saying things and getting you all riled up, and then feeding on that because that's what they feed on. They want that reaction of what you're doing. A lot of them will just sit there and start like sending hate mail to you for no reason, because they dislike you for whatever reason, or you insult somebody.
Skeletor says Naruto's ethnicity is an anime character.
Exactly. Well, so you know what I'm saying? Yeah. No, you get it, man. It's just ridiculous. It makes no sense. Like, why are you picking on these people for this reason? But again, the internet gave us this reach to just start saying things to random people. Or was that whole new thing, that whole Lily Tino thing is still going on, and people just cannot stop talking. I can't get, you know what I mean? It's like we just stop acknowledging what the fact these people are doing is just creating more negativity. It's like you all feed into it, and then they're going to continue to make these videos, and then they're just going to continue to piss you off even more and just say these wild things that are going on. It's like it just keeps popping up on my newsfeed. I'm just like, oh, God, can we please stop with this already? Let's stop feeding into this nonsense that people are doing. We don't need to keep feeding it even more.
Right. And it's gotten even worse because it's like we said when we first started, it is the big epidemic that this world ignores a lot. Yeah. And unfortunately, the only time I react is when you have something like, unfortunately, a school shooting or someone shoots up a workplace. And the thing is too, is that 9 times out of 10 politicians, they don't want to sit there and say, oh, well, they needed help. They had issues. They were being bullied. They were being harassed. They just want to say, it's the gun's fault. Sweep it under the rug.
Yeah, but think of that. We're blaming an inanimate object for somebody else's decision. I mean,
right.
If you think about most of the politicians, how old they are, you have to remember, though, what generation they're a part of. Things were different for them, the way they looked at things versus the way we look at it now. Like, we know so much more than we did before. A lot of these guys grew up with, they were told the same thing that we all were told, hey, mental health's not a big thing for them, and I've interviewed somebody before. I think he's said 1956 or something like that. He was actually sexually assaulted by somebody, and he went and told his therapist at that time. He said that he told 2 therapists. They both ignored him when he was a kid. It took him 30 years later when he was married for him to tell somebody what exactly had happened.
Ian Hurling says, what's up, fellas? Great show so far. I will say the topics I talk about in Nerd Informer brings out all
Ian, what's up,
comments
brother?
and hate, but it feeds me and makes me laugh. I love Ian. I don't
Ian's
know
great.
I don't know what negative comments that man would face. So I had him on. He was awesome.
Yeah, Ian. Yeah. I've seen their show several times. I love watching. There's him, Tom, and his better half too. All of them were doing one on UFO. It was interesting to watch, man. It was so fascinating to see what they were doing, and they were talking about different states and all these different really cool things. So it was really great. But yeah, man, it's so interesting though, because I get weird comments sometimes on my videos, just random shit people will say. Oh, it's not this. I met a girl from Poland. She said that, she was wheelchair bound and it was horses that get her out. And then somebody's like, oh no, it's not. That was all fake. She was in a wheelchair. I'm like, what are you talking about, man? Get out of here. It's just the stupidest crap possible gets said to people. It just makes me laugh so hard. It's like, what is wrong with some of you all? Stop, man. But yeah, you're right though. It gets shoveled under the rug because people don't want to talk about it enough. And when you talk about it, people freak out depending on what it is. If you start having suicidal ideation and someone starts talking to you, 9 times out of 10, they start freaking out. They start panicking because it's like this person's talking about, hey, listen, I'm thinking about taking my life. I don't feel right. Something's bothering me. And a lot of people get real nervous. We had an oh shit moment in this first half of the year. Literally the beginning of the year, actually. I had a guy come on the show and he was sitting there and he was like, hey, Pete, can I tell you something? 30 minutes in this interview, this guy starts talking about his suicidal ideation. He's like, this morning I had the gun. I was sitting at the edge of the bed. And he's going into great detail, these things. And I was like, holy, in my mind, I'm freaking out going, oh, shit. This guy, I don't know what he's going to say next, and you got to stay calm. So anxiety's just pumping through. I'm like, oh, God, what is he going to say next, But at the same time, it was so interesting to see people's reactions. I had 15, 16 people go, oh, my God, is he okay? And I'm like, yeah, he's all right. He's talking about it. I think that's where we start to panic is when people start talking to us about these things and say, hey, listen, we're thinking about, having these really bad thoughts and hurting myself. I think we need to understand that this person is talking to you. It's great they're talking to you. I know it may be an uncomfortable conversation, but just remember, 988 is there for a reason. If you feel like your friend or somebody else is talking to you and you're having an issue, dial that number. Don't let them off the phone. Dial that number and get them on phone with somebody else, because these guys are trained for these kind of things. Like, I've had people come tell me things like that, and I was ready to go. And I tell a lot of them, like, listen, hey, I appreciate coming and talking to me, but this is something outside of where I can listen to you. I am not an expert. I can get you to someone that can handle these problems with you. I'd rather you talk to somebody that knows what they're in. Like, you can still tell me if you're having thoughts or anything. That's cool. Listen, I'll listen all day, but if I can't help you, I am definitely going to direct you to somebody that can help you out.
Steve Stanton, who is a good friend of mine, says he's been there himself with all those thoughts, and his father committed suicide.
Steve, I'm sorry to hear that, man. I really am.
I'm sorry to hear that, brother. Steve. Yeah. Have you ever so when people come on and talk to you about this stuff, like, I've had these suicidal tendencies, do you just let them vent it out? Because I've had a friend of mine, he tried to kill himself once, and literally he went on this huge, like, 30-minute, speech about everything he was going through. I just sat there and listened because I wasn't going to interrupt him. It's like, dude, this is serious shit. Just let him talk. And he literally talked himself out of it. And it was like, sometimes they just need to vent, it seems like, in that situation. Now, not all the time.
But no, you're right, though. Tyler, you're right, though, man. What you just said makes sense, because you know what they're doing is they're saying their stuff out loud. Yeah. And they're hearing themselves, how goofy it sounds to them. Like, hey, man, whoa, this doesn't sound right. Like, this doesn't, and sometimes that's all they need to do is hear them do that, A lot of people I meet will tell you that same thing too. They're like, yeah, they're going to say it out loud to you. They'll vent just like your friend did to you. And he's just thinking, man, this sounds kind of weird. Like, once they get the thoughts out of their head and they're verbalized or whatever, that's even better, because if they're even journaling, in fact, let's use that for a fact. You can journal it, and then you're looking at these and you're reading what the thoughts are in your head. A lot of times you're going to be like, well, this is kind of stupid, man. What am I doing here, man? Like, and sometimes you need that reality check, man. And it's hats off to you for listening, man, because a lot of people don't. I had somebody literally come on the show and tell me that they called that friend that said, hey, listen, call me if you ever need something. They blew him off. And I'm like, that's the problem. No, you can't do that.
Steve is sitting here saying that he's confessing that he had a gun in his mouth in one instance. The other was a heavy-duty extension cord. Steve, I'm so glad you did not do it, man.
Thank you so much for sharing that, Steve. Let me tell you now, man, that makes me feel good. Use a man one or talking about these things, and you're sharing those kind of things with us, bud. Like, I really appreciate it that you're willing to tell us those kind of things, man, because it's hard for people to admit. Because I'm sure you're telling certain people that they're freaking out, going, "Oh my God, Steve's going to do something," So.
Skeletor, who watches Steve is on another show called Ray Liotta's Morning Disaster, and that's where I met him. And I will confess, I did used to make fun of him back in the day.
Yeah,
I used to be one of those people, but I was also doing it for comedic feel.
Yeah,
I can't do that now. I can't make fun of the guy now, because ever since I got into podcasting in like 2022 on another show.
Yeah,
and I left that show because of personal reasons, started this show here. And ever since then, it's like, whenever I look at Steve, I'm like, I can't make fun of you, dude. I can't. I mean, he's a comedian. He's a funny guy. He really is. But you never
Steve,
know.
Reach out, man. I'd love to have you on the show sometime, but definitely. I'd love to hear your story, man. I'm always down with that. And I did a podcast too beforehand, and that was the same thing, man. Personal reasons are why I left. We weren't meshing well, and we were coming up with topics that were just not appropriate to be talking about, and things got out of hand. And when they started this one, it seems like this topic took off too, and it was just like, from day one, I've been booked till the end of the year. So, like, you think in 2024, I was already out to, just one date, because Oracle, I'm only guaranteed to do the one day. It's all I have to do. But I did 2 days because they told me it was okay. And then lately, I was doing a lot more lives and things like that. I was going live all the time on there every day of the week almost. So,
Connie says you may want to quit it with Bubba too. All you guys do so much with him. It's got to get to us. We do back off on Bubba a lot, but Connie, we do. And yes, there are listeners in the chat room on the main show that do make fun of Bubba way too much.
Yeah,
Bubba's somebody who he joined our show like last year. we live in Central Illinois, and you live in Illinois as well.
No, I'm in Texas actually, but I'm from Illinois.
You're in Texas. Oh, okay, never mind. Sorry.
Baby. By way of Texas, but no, yeah, that was funny. Tyler told me, he's like, I'm from Illinois. It's like, get the fuck out. Really, bro? Because I've lived all over, man. Like, you'd understand, if I start listing cities, you'd have a better idea where they were. But I tell people I'm from Chicago because it's just easier.
Steve says, but most of my friends don't want to talk. They just want me to go to the psych ward, and I've been so many times. I know how to manipulate the mental health system.
Well, that's a fantastic point, but before I cut Tyler off, that was a fantastic point there. Like, once again, dude, that's awesome that you're talking to us about it. Listen, man, you could reach out to me anytime you want, brother. My name's right here. You can hit me up here. I'm on the other one. You can hit me up if you ever need somebody to talk to about that kind of stuff, dude. I'm always listening. I will never tell you to go somewhere you don't need to go. It's not that I think your friends are worried for you, man. They don't know how to react. And I think that's the one thing about the show that we highlight the most, is that a lot of people aren't ready for that uncomfortable conversation, man. But hats off to you, though, for talking, though. Remember, because you're in the statistic of males that don't talk about it. You could be in that other side, not talk about it, and then something happened, and then they'll go like Tyler said, oh, well, we didn't know they were going to do that, or what I could have done more. But you did try to do more. He tried to talk to you about it, and you told him to go to a psych ward instead of just hearing the man out and listening to what he has to say.
You should have Steve on.
Definitely, Steve. I'm inviting you. Come on, brother.
And you should have Bubba. Bubba, I know, I don't really want to talk about it live on air because I know he's uncomfortable.
No, we can talk about it afterwards. It's good.
Yeah, he's got some things going on. I think
Bubba for sure can come talk to me for sure. Guys, listen, if you want to be on the show, reach out to me. I will figure something out. I am booked till October right now, but I will get you something sooner. I'll figure something out. Something always happens. Somebody always falls off. It happens. Things like that. But I want your story to be heard. Like, if you want to come talk to me, there's another side project I'm working on too. It's called Voice of the Voiceless. Actually, it's self-titled my memoir that I'm going to write about myself, because everybody always asks about myself, and I don't really say too much about my past. But this is going to be one of those tell-all type things. It's another side project, so we can discuss some things I'm working on. But just hit me up. Like I said, just reach out to me, Facebook or whatever, message me, and then we can talk about it more. And we'll figure out what I can get you in for the date wise. I'd love to have you come on, share your story. We don't have to be live for it. We can have a closed session, just us, and then post the video later. That way you guys, but like, come talk to me. I'm down for it. Bubba too. I'll take anybody. I love it, man. I'm down for it.
I will say this, and I'm not saying this to be mean about neither Bubba nor Steve, but they have a bit of that Midwestern drawl.
Oh, okay.
A speech thing. Sometimes people do. Yeah, it's the Midwestern drawl. It's like you hear them, and they're like, "What did you just say? Can you repeat that?"
Listen, I'm good with when it comes to a lot of that stuff. I've had people from other countries come on. And like, you may not like, I can understand them, no problem. I've had no issues so far. I don't think I've ever so far with anybody, in things like that. I don't think that ever really affects it at all, man. But it's just so real, them telling their story. Steve and Bubba are going to inspire somebody, man. Think about it, because somebody's going to hear their story and go, well, damn, I'm not alone, because Steve feels the same way I do, and a lot of times that's how people come on. They're like, man, I heard somebody else talking about, their own story. Now I want to come tell my own story. We've had that happen several times, and it's great, man. Like I said, but fellas, reach out. I'm down 100%. I welcome you to come. I'm always looking for real stories for people that are willing to come talk to me. And we don't have to talk about anything you want to. We'll do a pre-conversation, and we'll talk about what things you don't want to go near. Unless you just want to go for it, I'll let you rip. I'll this is Steve, and just let Steve just go fly off the handle and just tell them whatever they want. I mean, this is all about you. Once I'm in the side that Tyler's in, and you're on this side where I'm in, it's all about you. I'm not worried about Pete. I'm worried about yourself. When you're there, you're the all-star. I'm making you the MVP of this conversation. And we can talk about whatever you want to talk about, anything you want to talk about. I don't judge you. Trust me, man. I knew what I did. When I get into this space, I knew that the conversations are going to get rough. They're going to get real. You're going to hear things that they're going to blow your mind. Like, I had a woman tell me that she got shot one time with her own kid.
Oh, shit. Steve says, I may take you up because I still have a lot of shit going on in my head. It's better to get.
Hit me up, brother. I am down 100%.
Bubba, I said this to you, so when you're listening to this, I hope you take this up. You two should definitely get in there and talk to this guy. It's always best to get it out. Down. It's always best to get it out as opposed to bottling it up. I've learned that myself.
Exactly. So, he's not wrong.
So outside of, the whole mental health issues, your podcast, what else does your podcast cover?
We cover everything, man. Anything mental health topics only. Like we'll cover authors, we'll cover different professionals, I cover different people that do different things. So like if talk therapy isn't for you, these are the people you can find and this is how you find this person. I bring them in, highlight what they're doing, and let you figure out okay, and then the people will tell you like listen, hey, you want to reach me? This is my website, these are my socials. That's what we cover pretty much. It's just anything mental health related, like anything people are doing new things, any new books that people are writing about stuff. I have, people's different stories about their books they're writing and things like that too. I have a couple of returning guests coming too back that have books written that they reached out to me and said, hey, listen, can I come back and talk to you about, my new book? Yeah, let's go. Let's talk about it. I'm down for whatever. The conversation, I don't think I've yet to turn down many conversations. I think I only had turned down a few, but it was like, you got so far off the topic. It's like, I hear what you're doing, but this is just not the place for it. And I very rarely tell somebody no. Like I'll talk about anything possible. Hell, I talked about breast cancer for an hour. I can make any conversation work, honestly, and it doesn't bother me. I'll take on most topics without even an issue. I read so many different books. I get so many different books. And I cover whatever, man. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'll talk about anything. Like I said, Steve, man, if you're down, hit me up. We can discuss it more, a little bit and see how you feel. I suggest if you all have never seen an episode, go watch it, get a feel for how the conversation feels, because it's just like this, just like me and Tyler. This is exactly what it's like, man. I keep it very casual. I just let you, go, and I'll stop if you need me to pick up the slack when you need to recover yourself. I'll jump in and I'll handle it. I'll just, kind of just start filling in the gap for you a little bit, give you a chance to get back, and let you go back to it, man. But if you got something you want to say, man, I'll give you the platform to be heard, man. I'm down. You don't even have to think twice about it.
Right. And that's a big thing too. Another question I have, when it comes to people, there's a lot of people, like we said earlier, who don't want to show they're dealing with issues. They don't want to talk about it. They're viewed as being weak.
Yeah.
What would you say is, how do you get them to realize that when they're on this podcast, you're not here to demean them, or, you're here to help.
Oh, yeah.
You're here to get them out. How do you find
it's funny you asked that question, because I had that. There's a person that I was talking to Instagram. I had told her a little bit about what my show's about. And she said, why do you care about my story? Well, why not? Why doesn't somebody care about your story? Like, I have another platform I'm working. Like I said, my side project is called Voice of the Voiceless. If you have a story and you don't want your name to be heard, and you just want to share that story, that is the idea that show is behind. It's like, you have a story, you just too afraid for people to know, or people have told you not to say anything, and you don't want your name associated with it. Either I will read your storyline for you on this side project I'm working on, or I'll have you come in, we'll record it strictly audio. If you want to be heard, you can use whatever name you want to be, but I prefer it to be Voice of the Voiceless, basically. Because now you're being able to speak up, but no one knows to know that it's your story, because you don't want people to know it's your story, but you want to get it off your chest and let people know this is what I've been dealing with. It's kind of like a confessional, like you don't see the other person. I'll see you. Like, we'll see me and Steve now. We'll take me and Tyler see each other right now. We'll see each other in person, but that's it. It's strictly audio. And it's a side project I'm working on, something else I thought of, because like I said, my book is The Voice of the Voiceless, because I give people the space to have their voice heard. In talking to people, I'm just talking to people. I'm like, listen, I'm interested in your story. I'm reaching out to you because I want someone to hear what your story is about, because you're posting these things on social media, and I'd love to know what the backstory is. And I've had a couple people, I'm like, listen, do me a favor, go listen to the show, check out a couple episodes. I can send you some of my favorites, and you can check out some of these and get a feel for these conversations, what these people are saying. We had a young lady named Whitney that came on, and she had made a statement. She said, my name's Whitney. I deal with these issues. And it was so powerful. I had like 17, 18 active viewers at the time that had seen this young lady start talking about this thing and start saying stuff. So, man, I'm always down for any conversation like that, though. But, it does take some convincing for some of these people, because they're a little worried. They're like, oh, well, I don't want, people to judge me or something like that. It's like, who fucking cares? I'm asking you to come because I want to hear your story. Listen, fuck everybody else. Like, let's be honest here, bro. Like, you can't worry about everybody else. Don't let people dictate your life ever. You know what I mean? It's crazy.
Hey, Brad, welcome to the show.
What's up, Brady? How you doing, brother?
And if you're wanting to get in touch with Pete, or you want to watch some of his podcasts, we have his socials. Here's his Facebook link to his podcast page and his YouTube page. So If anybody wants to get in touch with him, I got in touch with him by I actually hunted him down because he was looking for guests, and we've seen him multiple times. I'm like, it's time we get Pete on.
Right, that's what he said.
It's time we met.
He's like, it's time, brother. But yes, guys, you can find me anywhere. Instagram, Facebook, X, TikTok. I am everywhere, man.
I've not done a lot of smart things in my life, and I'm on a podcast where we discuss things I've done, and I'm sure people don't believe me, but unfortunately, 90% is true. And I get that.
I get that too, brother. Trust me. I had a whole... I've confessed a little bit about myself. It's not about whether people believe you or not, man. It's your story, okay? So at the end of the day, best advice is tell them go fuck themselves, honestly. And I know that sounds crude to most people. It's your story, bro. I have so many other podcasts, if you're good with mine, that I can have you go on and you can share that story and talk to other people that you'll have a fucking blast on the whole time, dude. There's other people I've met through doing podcasting. It's like, that's how me and Tyler linked up. I've met all these other cool people I've met. I have, all these different podcasts. There's one I was telling him about the shit that goes on in their heads. They're booked out to sometime next year, and I got invited to that. There's another one I think that records here in the Dallas-Fort area called The Mental Perk. I had the ladies on that host that. Since this show started, I can tell you I've had more people in the top 3% in their podcasting category on the show. And it's just been so interesting to see, though, things like that. And I told them all the same thing. I told the two ladies in the Mental Perk that same thing. I was like, fuck them. Who cares? Like, it's your story, Steve. They don't believe you? Okay, well, fuck them. Who cares, man? It's not your job to get them to believe your story. Once you start telling your story, it's out there, man.
I would say to you, it's okay. I kind of interrupted you. I'm sorry. I would say the important thing for someone like Steve too is it's not whether people would believe your story. It's the fact you're doing it for yourself, and you're doing it to get it off your chest. Because sometimes just talking about it is the best way to open the door up and actually address your problems, address the situation. Brady wants to know, all right, Pete, what is your best advice to a newlywed couple? But he just got married recently to his...
Hey, congratulations, Brady, man. My best advice to you is that talk, man. Here's the craziest thing you're going to hear someone ever tell you. As a guy I'm just turned 40, my wife and I think our strongest thing is that we discuss everything. Like, we have open conversation. Like, Brady, man, if you're ever having problems, don't feel like you can't go to her and talk to her. Like, if you guys can't have open dialogue, then what's the point of being married? Like, that's supposed to be your partner. Yes, she's supposed to be your biggest critic, all those other things here. But if you can't go tell her, hey, babe, I got some things that are going in my head. I need to talk to you. I think that's the biggest downfall is people just don't have a conversation. And I mean, real conversation. Sometimes, you all have to have a conversation and don't attack each other. Like, don't take what she's saying or you're saying as like you're trying to attack each other. Like hear each other out, man, because sometimes the conversation is going to get a little uncomfortable. But, these are your thoughts. These are her thoughts. It's better to know what each other are thinking versus just hiding it from everybody, because I think that's where we have the most issues is that we stop talking about these things, especially you as a male. We got to start talking more, man, because like we were talking about earlier, 80% of us were going too fast, and we make up 50% of the population, fellas. Just keep that in mind, too. So we are not only losing people at 80%, we're 50%, and we're losing more guys than we are reproducing guys. So, let's talk, man. What is the problem? And that's a great thing, too, is I have a men's mental health panel that we do every month. I'm doing one for July next week, actually. If anybody wants to be a part of it, let me know.
Connie wants to know, I think this is turning more into the chat room wants to get involved in this conversation too, which they're always welcome to. But definitely. Connie wants to know, how do you deal with people that are in constant pain? Doctors don't help. And this one kind of touches more close to me because my fiance has epilepsy and the meds leave her in constant pain. She has literally like no energy. She's always tired. The seizure meds don't work. So how would you deal with people who are in constant pain like that?
My wife's actually in constant pain all the time. I try to stay as positive as possible. Very supportive. Definitely, man. Listen, hit me up, Brady. Definitely, for sure, brother. Sorry. Yeah, but definitely hit me up, man. Just message me. I'll look into my messages. If you need to, you can always email me at peteversusanxiety@gmail.com. That's the easiest way to get me, or I'm on Instagram. I'm on everything, guys. You can hit me up on whatever. I'm always somewhere doing something. But to answer your question, it's hard when it comes to constant pain, though. Like, you got to be that supportive partner, though. My wife's in constant pain all the time, too. She's had a really bad back injury. and she struggles with some stuff too, man. She had a car wreck way before we met, and it hurt her a lot of times too. And she deals with a lot of stuff like that. But having that, being positive for that other person is always great, man. It's hard because you don't know how to help those people when they're in a lot of pain like that, And I think that's the hardest part of it. There's so many different things. So you think about it nowadays, there's so many different modalities you can use and things like that. There's people that are doing wonders with energy healing. Is a big thing I've been getting into lately. You may need to look at alternative routes. Psychedelics work great for a lot of people. It's great. I'm telling you, man. I had a conversation from where the hell is she? She's somewhere overseas, but she does microdosing of and a lot of that stuff helps, man. Because all the medicine, think about all the side effects, all the medicines. Like, watch one of those commercials. I'm reading what you said. I feel like I was meant to take a blunt. Yes, exactly, Brady. That's exactly what we're saying. Yes. So we have like I said, the men's panel is exactly for that. But yeah, the constant pain thing, man, it's hard because you don't know how to help them sometimes. Like you want to be there, but just try and be as supportive as possible is my best options to you. Look at alternative routes. Like I said, like there's so many different natural cures these days that help so much better. That people are doing energy healing and psychedelics and all these different people I meet that do different stuff. Sometimes it helps though, man. It's hard though when it comes to a constant pain thing. But think about all the medications that we take. Like, listen to those commercials when those little voices come on and go, some side effects are, and they start listing them. And it's like,
oh my God, yeah.
There's what is it, the antipsychotic that makes you hear things? I'm like, wait a minute.
It's just like,
shit, what?
It's like the side effects for the drugs that you prescribe have worse side effects than actually what you're going through.
Yeah, it's hard, man.
Yeah, it is. What would you say? Okay, when it comes to the psychedelics, you mentioned, and obviously we have Skeletor said, he takes shrooms for depression. Don't watch Jurassic Park.
No, Skeletor, no, man. God, no. See, listen, that's funny because I use edibles for my anxiety, and it helps. Though I find it's better than most anxiety medicines because I had taken one time, man, and my heart was just racing. I'm like, woo! You would have thought I was running a marathon as fast as my heart was going. I'm like, yeah, this is probably not what they're supposed to be doing, man. And I'm standing there, my heart's going like 1,000 miles an hour, and I'm having chest pains. I'm like, this is not right, dude. So I was like, yeah, I can't do these. I'm looking at the side effects. It says if you have a racing heart, go to the hospital. And I was at work. I'm like, well, I can't leave work right this second to go to the hospital because, I'm taking these medicines for this issue that people don't even know exists, for a lot of them.
Right.
But I use edibles, though, honestly, because, and I say that because, like, I talk to my boss all the time about things, and she has no idea what my anxiety is like. And you can just tell it's just how it was.
Right. And also, too, we got a conversation going on in the chat room about the psychedelics we were talking about.
Yep. THC works good. I've seen that with Steve.
THC works good for Steve, and I got Stora Chloe, a good friend of mine. She used weed to get over a hostile ex-boyfriend. If I could get Chloe, I'd send her right to you. That's a story you'd have to hear.
Hit me up for sure. If you'd ever decide to come share your story, I'm down to love it.
But one thing I wanted to touch on.
The one thing about the edibles real fast, the one that gives you panic attacks, my best suggestion to you is get with somebody that knows what they're doing. A lot of these people that are in the shops know what you may have to try something different. Just certain stuff. And it's go light on the dose and go up from there. I wouldn't go too crazy right off the bat.
Right. One thing I wanted to mention is we're talking about the psychedelics.
That's very true.
We're talking about the psychedelics. At what point do we have to realize, because of our dependency on psychedelics, like we're using them to help battle depression, like some of the people in the chat room are saying, at what point, what would you recommend to those to keep it from going from an addiction or a dependency? Like, I have to have.
Well, that's why with psychedelics, a lot of times I found from people I've met, they say that they microdose it. They just get it to it handles what you need. That's all. Just don't take it past that level unless that's something you enjoy doing. I mean, that's your thing. I can't tell you what to do, but I'm telling you that these people that are trained will work with you, and you'll just talk to them about it. Things like that, because you're getting enough that it's helping you, but you're not putting all those chemicals in your body though at the same time.
Right, because I will say this. I know there are some people, and there's some people in the chat room. I will not say their names because I'm not going to, blast them or anything like that. I don't want to do that. But there are some people I have seen or been around to where they have that dependency on psychedelics, like weed, shrooms, and whatnot. Yeah. And when they don't have it for so long, it's like just instant withdrawal. Like, ew, man, you're just like, go take a gummy, relax, you're good, and I've been on lithium, so.
Yes. Lithium is an interesting one for sure. Yeah. Steve, you've got some serious shit if you've been on lithium. I think my wife said she's on that too.
I don't know if he's ever said that before, but if he's, oh God, that explains a lot, Steve.
Yeah. Some of those get really wild when you start looking at the shit they're just cramming down people's throats. They turn them into zombies and things, and I think that's where, like kratom and all these other things come in. A lot of people use and all these alternative options.
Kratom and all that, yeah.
Yeah. Like I said, I personally use edibles for my own reasons, for that. He says lithium. Skeletor, we said the same thing, bro. Skeletor, I love you, man. You're great. You're cracking me up, dude. And Chloe, I see your comment says that you're shy. Chloe, I'm going to be honest with you. Once you have a conversation with me, I'm telling you right now, I've gotten people to open up. There's a few people that are really shy at first, and then you watch them like 30 minutes in, then they get real bubbly.
April, my co-host, she's tuning in, wanting to say hi to everybody and all that. So, the lithium, that explains a lot.
Dude, that's what I'm saying, bro. Like, that's crazy. Like, that's some really serious stuff. And it's hard because think about it, when they used to just throw that stuff at people. Like, can you imagine he has too much of it and what it does to him? Oh no, I'm good.
Right. Jeez. Do they still prescribe lithium these days, or is that?
I think they do. I think they still do.
That's the hard part.
But you got to remember now, they have a bit different idea of how it's supposed to go. April, you're so welcome. Thank you so much.
They're not cramming it down people's throat as much.
Right.
And my life is a mess because of family, my ex.
Yeah, and Chloe, that's really not too shocking, honestly, for all that kind of stuff. A lot of people have a lot of things going on. A lot of their family members are the aggressors. A lot of people's family members are the narcissists. They're the ones that are causing them to gaslight you, and they do what they want to get you to do what you want them. You know what I mean? It's a lot of them are very manipulative and try and control you and things like that. So it's really not shocking, honestly.
Right.
So listen, that I did the sideshow with Chloe. I don't know if you heard, but I'm doing another one called Voice of the Voiceless. You can share your story, and we don't have to tell people it's your story. No one will ever know it's you, girl.
Well, thank you, Chloe. I'm glad I did do
That's
that.
awesome. Tyler seems like a real great guy. Everything I've watched so far, I've watched all the interactions, everybody. Yeah, Tyler's a stand-up guy, I can tell you right now. I love what I've been watching, all the stuff. I've been checking in out every time I get a chance, every time he goes live and things. I'm always trying to come by and check out what's going on.
I try. I am a nice guy. I play a perfect idiot, though, on the podcast. And I've had people ask me questions like, why do you do that podcast where you're made fun of so much? Because I can take it. Because at the end of the day, we've all been in that situation like we were talking about earlier. Maybe you lost your job. Maybe your significant other is leaving you. Maybe you've had death. And life just seems dark. It seems dreary. And you need something. And you take a gamble on something.
You're not wrong, though, because I had a guest on named Dave Morey. He teaches people comedy classes on how to handle their own mental health. And he says the same thing. If you can't laugh at yourself, what are you going to laugh? You're laughing at your own problems. So Dave actually will be on the panel next Monday with us, too. If you guys haven't seen his episode, he's a really great guy. And he was funny. Me and him were making jokes, and he was making jokes about his own suicide and things like that. And he was laughing at it. But, if you can't laugh at yourself, what can you laugh at, And it was just more Dave's coping thing was teaching people classes like that.
See, Tyler, you keep the chat going though. It's kind of slow. That I get that. Yeah. Steve says his first experience with the mental health system. He was 20 and was given electroshock therapy at St. John's. Was up here in Springfield in the 90s.
Yeah. Wow. Steve, we need to talk, man. We do. We need you to come.
Steve on,
brother. We need to have a conversation because I think we need to explore some of these things a little further, man, of what you just been through.
Yeah.
It's crazy, though, man.
Steve, it sounds like Steve is right at that period where mental health and physical health and all that stuff started to make a change from going barbaric to almost where it's
at. You're going to remember, though, too. Remember, PTSD used to be called shell-shocked, and everyone thought that only the military had dealt with that till, the mid-'90s, I believe it was. A lot of people only thought that's how you got it. Or, that's how you would, that's the reason what it was, is all that kind of stuff. And it was interesting to find out that, but Steve sounds like he's right on that cusp of where things were really getting interesting for people because, all that crazy stuff you were seeing them do and all this other stuff. And, the funny thing about the military is that I interviewed a guy the first episode of the show when I was live. He told me that when he came back, the military told him he was okay, but didn't look at his second set of tests. Now, mind you, this guy can't even go to the store and get a loaf of bread and come back without having that be too much for him. Like, that's it. Could you just imagine what that's like? Like, all the things we take for granted. I had a guy that came on a couple weeks ago named Casey, and he was telling us this story about how his head got crushed. Now, that's all he remembers. He remembers he was working and then he woke up and he doesn't remember anything. He had to relearn how to talk, how to type, how to write, all these things, all these things that we take for granted. And then he didn't have a lot of mental issues. And then when afterwards, he had started developing things like that too. And what it turned out is that he was working on something, and then he said the shelf came down and crushed his head. Luckily, what he was working in was not a hard surface, that it was between his head and that shelf, but he's crushed his skull basically. Now, if it had been a cement surface, he probably wouldn't be here right now.
Jesus. And he had to
reach out, Steve. Like I said, brother, reach out. We can talk more for sure. We'll figure out what's a good date to get you on and things like that. And like I said, it may take me a second to respond, but I'll look out for it though. I try to respond to everybody. It's just, I get so many overwhelming responses. Like when I put a lot of those posts out there, dude, you get like 50, 60 responses. It's hard to keep up with all those, Yeah. Funny story too is I put the digital calendar up in November, bro. I was already out to July 2025. They're like, you're out 2025. I'm like, yeah, 1 day a week. Monday, July 2025 was already booked in like maybe 2 weeks.
I know you mentioned possibly getting me in October, but I think, you know what? You mentioned about getting me on your show in October. I will gladly take a step back and Steve take that slot so you can get him in.
I'll get you in, Steve. Don't worry. You don't have to worry about the time. I'll get you too. Like I said, I'll get you all on. I'll figure it out. I'm switching my recording schedule up a little bit, but for you guys, I'll make an exception. Don't worry. I got you. Okay. But yeah, I love to, like I said, people's stories like that. I'll move people around to get those stories in there. Or I'll take on extra recordings. I think 1 week in August, I got like 5 in 1 day I'm going to do. So wish me luck. It's going to be a marathon.
That's why I hate all these unnecessary wars, all these soldiers coming back all messed up. My bill, I'm not sure what that is, had it bad from Vietnam.
Oh, I believe Vietnam is crazy.
With you. Vietnam is, any of those Vietnam vets, my grandfather was in Vietnam, and he never told any of the stories he went through. Never. You'd ask him, nothing. And he took those stories to his grave, unfortunately. And that's really a sad thing, too, is because we do see this going on nowadays, too. We have, we had in the chat room, Stoner Chloe mentioned her life is a mess with politics and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. Brother-in-law, thank you, Connie. We do have that issue where, unfortunately, like we said earlier, politicians aren't really helping with the situation, nor are they. No. They're more like they're impeding it. Mm-hmm. And obviously, I'm going to go put my little tinfoil hat on here. I think they do get a little kickback from Big Pharma saying,
they do. Think about it. They do. You ever see a movie, Thank You for Smoking? And I think it highlights it the worst for everybody. Yeah. It's like, you see how everybody's just kind of digging each other's pockets. Oh, well, I'll help you with this. Or what is it? House of Cards was like that too, a little bit. How they kept kind of doing those little back deals. I guarantee it's worse than that. We don't even know even the tip of what they're talking about in the back scene about things. And especially Big Pharma, they want to keep you in the system because they want to make their money. But if you look at Eastern medicine's philosophies are way different, though. Theirs are more natural and, everything else and all energy-based type things, because, Albert Einstein's actually the one that told everybody that we're all comprised of energy. Think about all your molecules and everything that move at a faster pace. You're creating some sort of energy, but it's so interesting, though, when you get these people on that do Eastern medicine, and it's been very fascinating, the stuff that you find out, all these natural things you can use that'll alleviate a lot of stuff, like the edibles and all these other things, the psychedelics people are using, all these different things that are more natural that don't have so many side effects like those medicines they cram and things like that. Think about it. Think about Western medicine cures what your symptoms are. They don't cure the problem. Yeah. And then the diagnosis thing, I think a lot of people run with too. It's like, well, I'm depressed. No, so now I'm depressed. No, that's what you deal with. That's just a baseline to figure out what exactly you're dealing with, so they know how to better assess your issues. Depression's real too for people. Like my depression gets bad some days. There's some days you guys will never even know how bad a day I'm having. I'll get on the show, I have a great time, and I'll go back right into that slump. And I never tell anybody about it because, like, the number one thing is I don't want people to be like, "Oh, I'm so sorry for you." I don't want to hear all that. Like, I appreciate it. I understand you think you're helping me, but you're really not helping me. My depression gets bad some days where I'm just like down in the dumps, things like that. I just don't want to get out of bed and things, but I'll get out of bed to do the show always for the interview. I always look forward to meeting new people because it's so fascinating the things you hear and the friendships you make, and I have a lot of really good friends I've met since doing this that I do other podcasts as well. So anybody that, comes on, I usually talk to them. I'm like, hey, listen, I got a friend that does this show. What do you think if I go talk to them about it for you? And I'll usually suggest them to other people. Like, hey, listen, you want to go talk? If I think you're going to be a good fit, because I've met all these people, I've interviewed a lot of these people, and I've been on their shows too. So it's I like to always connect people all together. So it's great.
Right. Well, you're mentioning about how hard it is to get out of bed. It's like, unless you sleep in too.
God, yeah.
Well, it happens. It happens.
I slept in on Tyler today a little bit. I was like, bro, I passed out.
I didn't mind. I mean,
you're taking a nap. Oh, sorry, brother. Don't worry.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay. It's funny because that's how I met one of my good friends like that too. She was like 20 minutes late to the show when we interviewed, and she was like, "Oh my God, I'm so glad you waited." I'm like, "Yeah, I got nothing else to do. I'm cool, whatever." And I understand it happens. I fall asleep sometimes, man. I work nights. I come home and I record this show. There's sometimes I've fallen asleep on some of my guests. I've missed our dates, but they feel really cool though. I mean, like you'd be amazed how cool people are about things. Like life happens. I've had episodes of recording where you'll see a kid walking right across the back of the screen here. And I'm just going with it. What is it? I had a guy on 2 weeks ago. He's the chief burnout officer, and we were talking about burnout and things. And all of a sudden, the kid starts walking past, and what you see is the top portion, but you don't see the child that has no diaper. And I was like, "Oh God!" I look over to my right, I'm like, okay, well, I'm like, you see me constantly pushing off the screen. My arm goes up. I'm pushing up. It just happens, man. It's the joys of podcasting. Like this shit gets wild, dude. But
the joys of the internet. We can't afford our own big studio and all that stuff.
God, I wish, bro. I fucking wish so much. That'd be great. I'd invite everybody to come use it. Like, oh, you got a show? Come on, let's go.
I would love to have I'm literally going to take my garage. I think this winter I'm going to build that to my into a studio.
Hell yeah.
Because it's a lot quieter. It's away from things and all that stuff. What you said your job? What do you do for a job?
I work overnight at a gas station. A lot of people don't know that, but I work as a gas station all night. And that's a funny thing. It's like I learned more about myself in this show. Is I learned out recently that I have in my. I don't know anybody who's big in astrology. I have an episode up. You should go watch it. You'll go find out more about my astrology, how my star chart was laid out, or whatever they call it, the birth chart. Mine says that in there, I've always had this thing where people come and tell me things I've never heard them say before. And you're like, I don't know why I'm sharing things with you. But according to my chart, it says that that's why it is that people come tell me things. And it's, I meet all these people all day. I've never met, I don't know 90% of these guys' names. I just know they come in. I did have a guy come in one time and tell me he lost a friend to a gun violence. He said that he was in the car drove past, and he came in looking rough one day. And I was like, buddy, you okay? And he's like, yeah, And then he started telling me what happened. And this was just a weird thing that just happens to me, that people just start telling me things. Just ask him, hey, you good? He's like, are you sure? I'm like, are you sure, man? Because you seem like something's bothering me. Then he started telling me. Then he told me the strangest thing I've ever heard in my life. To me, that's just stupid. He said that he's been dealing with these problems so bad that his own household, that no one asked him if he's okay. Like, really? And that's a good reminder to you all right now, that don't be afraid to go check on that friend you haven't heard from. Text them, call them, whatever. Make some form of contact to them and just check in them. Just say, hey, listen, how are you doing? And if they ask, just be like, hey, listen, I'm just wondering how you doing, man. I haven't heard from you in a bit. Just checking in and see you're doing okay. That right there could save their life, and you don't even know it.
He's mentioned this before on the show. His good friend, Skeletor's good friend, committed suicide back in 2014 because he was abducted by aliens and he couldn't get over the nightmares of what happened. Now, he said that before.
I believe
I don't know what your belief is in the extraterrestrial.
I believe 100% there's something out there. There's too many stories to tell you there wasn't. There's a book I read where they were telling stories like that.
My daughter is similar. She always attracts autistic kids. Always been that bee to a flower.
That's awesome, though, Connie. That's great, though. And that's just what it is. You just attract different people. And I don't know how many people are big into like spiritual things. Like the universe puts people in your path for a reason. Just think of that way. Or if you look at it from the energy sense of things, like you attract the people you want to be around you. So your daughter is essentially doing that. Her energy she's giving off, these autistic kids are coming to it because they know that she's going to be okay with them and not treat them any differently, which is great because, that's so hard because a lot of times we see things we don't understand. We're quick to sit there and make jokes about it, but we don't know what those people are dealing with or those kind of things. And 90% of those heads are way smarter than most people. You'd be amazed the facts and things that these kids can tell you, and it's really great to see, that that she has such a kind heart already, and that's great. That means you're raising a good one, Connie. That's what that means. That means that you're teaching her the things and being generous, being kind to other people, and things like that. And there's nothing wrong with that. It doesn't cost anything to be kind to people.
Right.
You know, just like I always close the show, I always tell people it's the one kind act to save somebody's life, because you don't know what people are going through. You see somebody, hey, I like your shirt. You just made their day. Like, that's it. They're like, oh, awesome, or like Tyler's hat. Oh, I like your hat, and things like that too. You can make people's day just by asking them how they're doing, And my big thing is I always ask people. I don't ask how your day is. I say, hey, how's your mental health? Because think about it. I could ask you how you're doing. Your answer could be okay, done. What if I say, how's your mental health? You have to think about what I've just asked you now. Now you're thinking about this question like, oh, wait, hold a minute. What is he asking me exactly? Like, how are you doing, right. Or however you want to phrase it, just kind of like that, get deeper with them, because a lot of times we don't know what people are dealing with, and like I said, Connie and Skeletor and Steve and everybody sharing things. It's great, man. It's awesome when you get people that open up and start telling you things about themselves. You didn't know what kind of rough week someone may have had. And maybe that's what they need to do. They need to vent it and tell somebody like, hey, listen, this is the week I'm having. These are the issues I'm dealing with and things like that. And 90% of these people I deal with all night, I talk to some of them. I don't know them on a personal level, but they'll tell me personal things all the time. And it just feels good because they just want to get it off their chest and let somebody know that what's going on. And so the thoughts stop bouncing around their head like a pinball machine.
So when it comes to, you mentioned a lot about the spiritual healing and whatnot. I take it you do a lot of that as well?
I am. I actually do. I do energy healing sessions. I'm actually going to do some with another guest I had on the show named Tanya Eckenberg. She runs a podcast called The Metamorphosis Project. She and I are going to do a couple sessions together. I've been exploring different things. There's actually another gentleman by the name of Mars Hendricks I've met recently. He does energy healing too, so I'm going to explore it and try it and see how it is. It's different thing. Like I'm up for anything. I had another one where, what is it? One where they hypnotize you. I got to do with somebody else. The guy calls himself the what does he call him? The Dream Doctor or something like that, or something like that. He's going to hypnotize me, and basically we're going to do some deep sessions of things. And so I'll have a lot of interesting stuff coming up down the road. But he calls himself. Oh no, sorry, it's the Dream Wizard. That's his name, Benjamin.
Okay.
Benjamin something, the Dream Wizard. I can't remember what his full name is, but he calls himself the Dream Wizard because that's what he does. He'll going to hypnotize you. So like I'm going to go into this thing, and I don't even know what to expect. So, but yeah, I'm ready to try. I'm getting ready to try some new things, to try other things. Like I've tried talk therapy; it's great, but I got to a certain point where I feel like I'm at the blockade. I'm like, yeah, I got to try something, and then I met these energy healers, and I was like, well, let me try it. They're like, listen, I'll change your testimonial to do them for you, and then you can tell me what you think, and you give people your real experience. I'm like, sure, why not?
Now, with energy healing, how does that work? Is it like, how does that work?
It's like different modalities and things like that so far that I know of. Now, I haven't been through a session yet, so I couldn't tell you all what it's like exactly.
Oh, you haven't been to one yet? Okay.
No. I was supposed to do one last week, but then Mars and I had a disconnection. His phone broke. But it's things that I'm going to try, but it's like different modalities. It's just like a lot of it is, channeling your chakra, a lot of times teaching meditation techniques and things like that. Even breath work, like using your own breath to get that stress kind of wash off you and things like that too. A lot of that stuff is different things people use.
Okay. So it's more like, trying to use your body to control it, build up energy. Okay. Because I know there's a lot of different techniques out there that people use.
Yeah. See, like there. Like Chloe says right there.
Like Chloe says, she does energy healing in the hot tub with breathing.
Yeah.
I know she does that whenever we're broadcasting on a Wednesday or Friday. She pops in and she's usually in the middle of that. But there's like there's all types of different techniques you could use, not just the breathing, controlling your breathing and all that stuff. But
a lot of times it's meditation techniques, like how to calm your minds.
Right.
Meditation seems to come up a lot lately, though, like that. And then people use hypnotherapy for certain things. Or there's tapping. The other thing is the tapping thing is a big thing, too. I've been getting a lot of people that do different tapping techniques. And,
what's tapping? Just kind of like where it's like...
Yeah, it's certain ways, like there's certain ways to tap on like certain things, like that. You ever see people do the finger thing, stuff like that, kind of stuff like that.
The fidget spinner, yeah,
stuff like goes a little deeper than that, though. And I've had something with soaring with tapping is one of the people I had on the show. Amy was a really great guest. She came on explaining how it works, and then me and another woman, I have to think what her name is now. I'll have to look it up for you and send it to you. But me and her had a conversation about it too, and she was talking about the different techniques of like what you can do with them, and it's basically other ways about controlling your mind, state of mind, and things like that too, and all that interesting things you can do. So it, like I said, there's so many different things you can do nowadays. That kind of stuff, like energy healing. There's that. There's breath work's a big one that comes up a lot of times. Just a simple your own breath could be such a remedy. That you don't need like all these other medicines and things for that. And I think if I remember right, I have a guy coming on Monday. He is an actual Australian special forces guy. He's an ex-special forces guy that he wrote a book about breath work.
Ooh.
And, all it is just breathing techniques to help you calm down, and different stuff like that too. And like I said, yoga though comes up a lot too as well, man.
Mm-hmm.
People, it feels like, meditation and yoga and all these other kind of things that come up. It's kind of funny because a lot of it shows up a lot and you're like, well, this is really interesting. And the funny thing is, a lot of these people used to be therapists that are going to these areas. So it gets really funny, though, because you're like, damn, all right. Like, well, I was a therapist for a while. I decided I hated it. So I'm going to go do this instead. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Why not?
So what techniques help you with your anxiety and when you're dealing with depression?
My anxiety, I have several different things. I have an anxiety journal I got from a friend. It was actually one of the co-hosts of my ex show I used to do called Pete's Corner Store. It's still out there. I apologize for anybody that listens to it. It did get a little raunchy after season 2 and 3 get kind of wild or topic wise, but basically what it does is like you're looking at it. It'll start at what your thought is that's racing through your head, and it ends up with like you're looking at the same idea of someone talking to you about like their suicidalization. You look how realize how stupid this is that you're really freaking out about this thing, that you're over fixating about it, because you have to remember when when my anxiety kicks in, it goes like this and it's just spinning like Sonic the Hedgehog. It'll just start taking off running. So the constant thought will be going through my head. Depression wise, I just like I said, I get up for the show. The show's like the biggest thing for me. I love what I do. I don't think I would change a day in it, and it's always great because I'm always looking forward to meeting somebody, because you can make somebody's day just by hearing their story. And I at the same time I have to be careful because I'm a big empath, so I take on a lot of emotions. So I have to be careful how much energy I'm taking on, because I'm really good at sensing energy as well. So I could read people's energy. Like within meeting you in person or talking to you for the first 5 minutes, I could tell you if I don't like you or not. If I don't like you, I don't do the show with you. And I'll read what people say to me. If I feel like for whatever inkling that I feel that is like, I don't like you. Yeah, you're not. It's not going to happen for me. But yeah, but really depression wise, man, it's just hard some days. I just got to remind myself that it gets better.
Yeah.
But it may work for everybody else. Like, don't take what I do is that works for you. Do work what's best for you. Do what works best for you guys, because that's the best thing at the end of the day. Is whatever works best for you. Make sure you do that. Don't take what I do is the only way to do things, because I'm not an expert. I'm just an average guy who got into this space to start creating the conversation that mental health isn't talked about enough. We need to break that stigma that it's wrong to talk about these things. But it's interesting to see how other people do things, though.
Casey says her 2 boys are autistic.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I always find autism. This is the thing that I question.
You know how many people are really autistic though these days? A lot of people fall in that spectrum.
Yeah, a lot of. Well, this is what I think. And again, I'm going to put my tinfoil hat on, but
here we go.
It's going to be a good thing. Yeah.
Here we go. Here we go. He's bringing the tinfoil hat, everybody. Here we are.
Well, at least I'm not talking about flat Earth, so.
Yeah, there you go, right?
Right. But sometimes I look at people with autism, and I ask myself, is it really a mental handicap, or is their brain just programmed to work either differently or?
I think you're right on that part. I think it was a superpower for them. A lot of them, you'd be amazed at what these guys can do, and it's and
yeah.
Casey, don't let anyone ever tell your sons they can't do nothing. Like that's the biggest thing. Don't let anybody just because they're autistic doesn't mean anything. They can still do more and probably do better than most people. I think that's where it is. Just stay positive with them and let them know. You can tell them I said the same exact thing. Like, fellas, let me tell you, like I don't care what anyone says. Like somebody gives you a hard time, you let me know. Me and Tyler will come beat him up for you. We got you. Don't worry.
Definitely. I mean, you listen to autistic people. Like for example, Albert Einstein had autism. I believe they revealed that. I think they revealed that Robert J. Oppenheimer, the guy who created the atomic bomb, had autism of some capacity. Autistic people usually turn out to be, it's because their brains don't function, but it functions better, it seems like. And for me, it makes me wonder, maybe they're the smart ones and we're the ones that have the disability. Our brains don't function as well as theirs.
Okay, so you're thinking a few other, by the way, are Elon Musk, Dan Aykroyd, Anthony Hopkins.
Yes, those three, and those three are incredible.
Andy Warhol was also as well, Courtney Love, and a few others I've never even heard of. Oh, the creator of Pokemon was also actually autistic as well. So you're saying, think of all the great things that they all do,
right?
And all the things they've been doing and things like that. I think that we limit people based on what we think they're. Just because they're autistic, we got to treat them differently. No, you don't. Yeah, they may understand things at a different level, but it doesn't mean they're stupid. They know probably more than you, honestly.
And you're talking about Elon Musk. The man he's the richest man on the planet for a modern day Tony Stark. I mean, you just mentioned the creator of the Pokemon franchise.
Mm-hmm.
That is a $1 billion franchise, and those guys, made it successful just by what they did. And it's like I said, maybe autistic people, their brains are better.
I think of it as a superpower for a lot of them, man. They think that, society's going to tell them otherwise. And I think that's the scary part about it, because a lot of people look at them and think they're weird, or don't understand that they understand you, but they don't understand you in the same capacity as most people do, So you just have to approach things differently. I interact with a young gentleman, he's autistic, I work with, and I can't talk to him the same way I talk to everybody else because he doesn't get it, So I have to do different things to learn, and it's great having this full Rolodex of people I know, especially one, Dr. Kristen, that's here in the Dallas-Fort area. She works with a lot of people. She calls them neurospices, what she calls them. But I usually reach out to her a lot. Hey, listen, I'm having trouble. How do I connect with this person at a better level, and things like that too.
Right.
And she was really cool and really helpful. A lot of stuff like that too. Shout out to all the people I've been on the show. There's a lot of people reach out to and ask them questions about things. And it's great having all these different people I know that deal in these areas. I can ask them, like, listen, hey, having a problem. What do you think I should do with this situation? And I can go tap into them and ask them, hey, listen, these are the things I need help with these things. And, they'll reach back and tell me, okay, well, here you go, try these things, and I'm like, all right, cool. That makes sense. But, it's so interesting. I think you're right, though. I think it's a superpower, honestly, is what I think it is as. These guys could do way more things. There's a kid I met, though. He could tell you every capital in the world. You point right at the globe and he'd tell you exactly what the capital of that country was, and he'd tell you whatever the capital cities were and start listing them off, and it just blew my mind how brilliant this young man was.
Another thing too is that we all remember our educational system. And I'm not going
let's talk about educational system. Jesus almighty, dude. The thing I don't get is like why we don't teach them more basic skills that we need for what if we change school to we teach kids how to regulate their emotions, you know what I'm saying? Like things like that. Teach them these things early on that they need to know. Have these conversations about mental health. It's like we all say mental health awareness, but how many of these actual people are making these videos? Do you see them continuing the conversation afterwards? Not a lot.
Our school system also needs to. You're not going to have everybody who is 100% on board or fascinated. Nobody's going to get long-term algebra. I could barely do fucking division, for God's sakes.
Right.
That's how bad I was.
Geometry was my worst subject with that one. I was like, I struggled. I was like, where am I going to use this at? Cater to what I need to do career-wise.
Like, I get math is a universal language, but at the same time, the issue with that is not everyone's going to get it. And I'll peel the curtain back a little bit on my own life. I'll talk about it more on your show. High school was the worst 4 years of my life.
Yeah. Brother, I got stories to tell you when you come on. We'll talk about high school then. But yes, I'll tell you some things that I've never told anybody before when you come on. We'll talk about that for sure. I've revealed it. I think one show so far I've revealed it on, and the episode hasn't come out yet. So we'll figure it out, and I'll definitely bring it up to you. It's just crazy.
Right.
But that's my kryptonite. I love it.
It's everybody's kryptonite. I don't care who you are.
God, I hate math. My brother was really good at math, though, man. This guy is a numbers dude. But, some people are just really good at it, though.
Yeah.
I just am never great with numbers. Like, I can do basic math and budget certain things. But other than that, man, past that division and things like that, woo, you lost me somewhere else.
You were the best part. I went to school with her, so she's a
okay.
I'm just giving her shit.
Was he bad? Was he a bad student? Is that what you're trying to say, Casey? Just spill the beans about it for us. Better wait for him to come on, and then we'll give him a hard time when he's there. We'll pick at him and see what we can get him. But no, man, school was hard for me too, man, because it was just like there's a lot of shit that went on that you're gonna find. You're like, whoa. I'm like, Yeah. Because I moved around a lot when I was a kid. My dad and I were I lived with my dad because my mom abandoned me when I was 10 years old. So
Oh God,
so
sorry.
she literally took me and dropped me off on this doorstep and left me there for a couple hours, and I had to wait for him to come home from work. And he was like, ever since then, I've never had a really good relationship with her, but I was always with him, and we moved around a lot because he just kind of did his own thing, and he was, had different girlfriends and things like that. So we moved around a lot though. So there's a lot more that goes with that story. We'll save for another time for you to hear, but I will definitely
Yeah.
cover that stuff. The calculator was the
calculator is everyone's best friend. Yeah, I don't care.
I think ones where you can put all the games on there, so you're sitting there in class, like, "Are you doing work? Oh, I'm doing work." And just playing with the numbers in the background, just sitting there playing. Yeah.
Connie says she loves math, but does she use it? Nope.
I mean, basic math, yes, it makes sense, but I think that we should take school and drive it towards the careers we need. Like, what things do we need now? And then start figuring out a better way to evaluate some of these people that, obviously college is not for them. You know what I mean? It's not for everybody. And just kind of drive them to where they can at least let them be successful. Why don't we make people successful? I don't get it. Why don't we get these spots filled with things that they have long-term lives, like medical field? There's so many different things out there. Let's start training some of these younger guys how to get in these areas. That way we have plenty, and we're not running so strained in certain areas. Why not teach them so they can be successful? That way they have better self-esteem, better self-worth as well, so they don't feel like they're just going to school for these random things. Now, if you want to go to school for something extra on the side, arts or whatever else you want to do, hey, cool, more power to you. But let's train them so they have better self-awareness of themselves. Let's teach them their mental health. Let's teach them their emotions. Because if we can teach them how to regulate these things, I think we'll find that a lot more, they'll be more successful. And, you won't see as a lot of them having so many issues, because I think, a lot of people bottle up, like you were saying a little bit, like I used to bottle up. Like, that's the problem. What happens when you have too much pressure? It's going to blow eventually. And then what's going to happen when you explode, though? That's the question. And that's the really scary part of it all, is that, people don't want to talk about their feelings, because they get real sensitive about it, because we all feel the way we do. But it's like when you start talking, but it gets really crazy.
Right. We can't do one show without Skeletor making some damn joke. One joke.
Skeletor, man, listen, first off, I don't know what to tell you. Obviously, she didn't teach you right, okay?
Like, he does it all the time.
Skeletor, listen, man, I don't know what to say there, bro. I was on the high school swim team. So was my brother. That's funny you say that, Casey, because my brother was too. My mental health needs the money from giving you the ideas for the show, Tyler. Oh, Jesus.
Well, no, this is not my idea. We're interviewing Pete. Pete runs this show. Pete is doing the Pete vs. Anxiety podcast. We just brought him on as a guest to promote his show and talk about it.
Right.
DA is saying people complain about Common Core math, but getting my IT bachelor's, the math I took was designed like Common Core before it was rolled out. Common Core is good for IT training. And DA is a fucking, I know that guy's a genius. So
DA, stop making us look bad, man. Come on now.
Moving to Delaware affected me. I was also so homesick. Yeah, that's another thing too about people that move. You get homesick for your friends, and family. And
I left when I was 19. I went to Texas, and I was a little homesick. That was it. But a lot of my family members still live in the Illinois area. My mom's in Hoffman Estates. She's still there. My brother, he lives out by Plainsfield and things like that too. Just give you guys a sense of where I'm from. I grew up right outside Joliet, Illinois, right there where Statesville Prison is. If you remember the first taping of Prison Break, that's where they were doing it at that, where they turned that old prison into a haunted house.
Yeah,
I went to high school out there, but I moved around a hell of a lot, dude. I've been all over the place. It's all over that state. I've been all over, man. It's crazy.
And that prison is actually haunted. Surprise! I've been trying so hard to get in there.
There's a couple haunted places actually in Illinois. There's another one that's over there. What the hell is in there? Glen Ellen. There's some kind of haunted campsite. If you drive by at night, sometimes you'll see there's somebody out there camping, and they're not. It's actual ghosts that are out there. I can't remember where it's in a weird spot though. You have to drive past this community, but it's like the community has like you can't even turn sirens on in the community kind of thing. But if you'll look over and you'll see it there some nights. And a lot of activities going on, they'll see that there's something. It looks like they're out there camping, but there's not. The tale was that I try to think what it's called now, but it's out there though, because I drove past it a few times, and someone had pointed out to me one night. They're like, "Look, you can see it out there." And then there's another one in that same area where there's the barn that you go around the corner. The barn is right there. I can't think of what it's called though, But there's another one where the barn appears on the left side of the road or whatever, and it's just a phantom barn. You'll see it there, but then it's not there. It's kind of crazy though.
Whoa! Is it Fort
It's not a fort.
Caskia?
It's some kind of trail. I can tell you that much. It's a trail.
Well, it's probably a Trail of Tears then. I would say Bartonville has an old place, has a haunted place, the old hospital there. Yeah, I'd like to get into Bartonville too. Casey says that what hurt most for her leaving Illinois was being able to say goodbye to a lot of people. I'll tell you, I went in the military for 6 years. I did not get homesick once because I'm from Illinois. I hate this state.
I agree.
But you do miss your friends and family. That is.
I had close friends in high school. Like, I didn't have a lot of friends when I was younger, though, because I moved around a lot, though,
Right.
So it's hard for me to make friends. And then I made a core group of friends that I still talk to this day. A lot of them I talked to for, God, it's been like 25 years now we've been friends. It's crazy, And I've made friends online, too. I've made a friend I played Call of Duty with. He actually lives in California, and he came to visit. So, and he's probably one of my closer friends that I talk to. But, I mean, the other thing I miss some of the stuff there. Like Texas doesn't have, like, White Castle. I miss. Everybody tells you that frozen section shit is lying to you. Like, y'all don't know anything. Stop. Please stop. You've never been there. We just got Portillo's, though, and I took my wife, and she's never left the state of Texas. And she's like, it's okay. I'm like, what?
It's okay.
What? I was like, what are you talking about? Stop it. Well, she's from Texas, though. She's never left the state of Texas. I think the farthest she said she's been was actually Missouri. So, like, she really hasn't. That doesn't count. Like, you got to, because she hasn't been to Chicago yet. So I told her I was going to take her one time with me. I sent her some pictures of the food I was eating up there. And she goes, that's food? I don't want none of that. Her reaction was so great.
Did she have a chocolate cake shake?
Yeah. She said it was okay.
Oh.
She's not a very easily impressed woman. You got to understand, tell her, when these southern women down here, bro, they
something wrong with Texas women, sounds like.
She can cook, though. Like, my wife cooks everything. Like, she likes to take the challenge on to make anything. Like, anything I really want, she'll go in there and she'll try and make it herself. It's really great, though.
Right.
But she's never really been out the state. I don't think she's even been to a Steak and Shake before, man. And that's something new to her, too. Like, we have Freddy's down here as well. They're kind of close to what it is. It's okay. Yeah. But it's not the same thing, like going in there 2 a.m, man, after hanging out with the guys all night, you go into a Steak and Shake, and it's just like the greasiest thing you've ever ate in your life. That Frisco melt, the extra sauce on it. Like, ugh. I miss that kind of stuff. And like they don't have Italian beef down here too either. I'm like, this is crazy. Like, how do y'all not have any of this stuff? Like, their pizza, Texas, we got to talk about your pizza, man. It's terrible.
They can't even do good pizza?
No, there's some places you have to look for. There's a guy that's actually from the Chicagoland area. He's out maybe 20 minutes from me. He actually makes really good pizza. And there's another place where they're from Italy, so they make their pizza dough. But there's only random spots, but a lot of it is just terrible.
Wow. How do you mess up pizza?
It's like ketchup sauce. It's like ketchup, man. It's like putting ketchup, basically. It's not your sauce. It's just terrible. It's like, it's the sauce that's different. Like, you take it for granted, man. Trust me, when you live in one of these cities where the pizza's really good and then you leave and go to another state and it's like, yeah, we got to talk about this, guys. It's not good at all. I'm like, no. But Portillo's was interesting, though, because the one they opened in Dallas, bro, there's like four circles around the building. That's how big their drive-thru was, out packed out so far. It was just, you would have thought you went to like the megaplex of Chick-fil-A's, man. And then let's talk about Raising Cane's really fast. I'm going to offend some of you right now. Raising Cane's.
All right, go ahead.
Raising Cane's.
It does.
I don't get what the obsession is. The sauce is, that's it. Other than that, but don't get me wrong, Dallas has a great food scene though. There's a place I went to. It's like an all-you-can-eat hot pot place, man, and they have their little conveyor belts and things like that. They have some really cool places, and they have another one. You can go in this tower where they make sushi, and it's on the little conveyor belt. Sushis will come around and stuff like that too. But they do have some really cool spots to check out.
Wow. I have a question about that because this is one thing that has been brought up a lot lately. Getting back to the whole mental health thing. What have you noticed? Because mental health in the country really took a hardcore dive during COVID with the lockdowns.
In fact, I don't think it took a dive. I think it brought out more people's issues, that it magnified it, that there was a problem because people were isolated. And when you're isolated, a lot of times that's where they really start seeing that they have problems, And it's funny, though, people have to be reintegrated to the office space to go back now.
I live like 8 miles from there. I'm not going tonight, unfortunately. I got some stuff I got to take care of. But the question I have is, we've seen that where people suffered from, like you said, they were locked in, they were separated from anxiety, cut off from society, and a lot of people started developing mental health issues because of it, like depression, anxiety, and all that stuff skyrocketed. Now, how would you suggest we deal with that? Like, how do you suggest we deal with those people? Because some people don't even want to acknowledge they have it, but you could tell, you could see from when
it's
COVID,
hard, man.
Before
If
COVID
they
started
don't,
to now.
my best advice to you is if you think you have mental health, there's a great site called helphub.co. Go there. It'll tell you different things to do. There's different things you can go look at. There's different advice and things like that. It's all different for everybody's anxieties differently.
Right. And
Bojangles.
then obviously,
get out of here with Bojangles and those dry Stop. Okay, stop it. All right. We all know it's like eating a Popeyes biscuit. It's a choking hazard.
What is wrong with a Popeyes biscuit?
Listen, man, they're pretty dry. Okay. Listen,
you put some butter on that thing, they're great.
But when it came to like a lot of that stuff too, anxiety, depression. There's so many different things though. They think about it. We don't know what everybody's dealing with. The best advice is to at least go talk to somebody and see what your problems, what the issues you're running into are. Because for all you know, you could have like BPD, which is a very interesting thing when you start looking at it on paper. It's complexity at its best. It could just be done.
What is BPE or
BPD is actually borderline personality disorder. Now, okay, it is like the most interesting thing ever. So it goes very closely with bipolar disorder because a lot of people think that's what it is, but BPD is borderline personality disorder. Like, it depends how it shows up in people. I've had a few people on the show that all tell you different things. Like Lucy Nor, the lead singer Haunter, she came on and me and her were talking about it. And she told us that she had BPD. And she said for her, though, she questions who she is every single day. Now, I've had other people come on and they'll tell you a whole different scenario. So, like, you can look into these things and see what they are. But when someone physically is in front of you and you're talking to them, their experiences are different. And, that's why I say if you go talk to somebody, at least get an idea of what you're dealing with. That way you have an idea how to better attack it. Like, because it could be that you don't have anxiety. Maybe you have something else going on, or you have some like these things that you don't realize that are happening, and you can better explain them.
DA said last year with some personal things going on, he went and saw a therapist and felt it was good. He got tested for ADHD, and they verified he had it.
Yeah, see what I'm saying? Because it could be that and other things like that.
Steve's questioning whether he might have to. Steve, you might go get checked for that.
Yeah, Steve, best advice to you, man, is go talk to somebody. Like, you're not there to have them attack the issue. You're looking to see what it is you're dealing with, and that way you have a better idea of what you could possibly be dealing with. Because it could be that maybe it isn't anxiety you're dealing with. Maybe it's not depression you're dealing with. Maybe it's one of these other really complex disorders that you may have. Like, one of the ones I ran into one time is very interesting is called FND, which is functional neurological disorder. So the way it works is like it's something really weird that goes on. Okay, so like this girl I met, Amy, she lives in the UK. Amy and I were talking, and she was like, "Yeah, the way she experiences that her hand when she gets really stressed out will start turning into a claw like this, or her hand will stick like this." Yeah, oh yeah. And see, the thing is that it takes 15 to 20 years in the UK alone just to diagnose it. Here, it's like I think we're down to like 12. We're like 12 to 15 here, if I remember right. Yeah, it's a real weird disorder, but it presents like a neurological disorder. But when you test for it, it doesn't show up anything.
So it takes like
15 to 20 years. 15 to 20 years for her because she was over there across the pond. That's how long it took for them. Now I think our side it's like 12 to 15 years, but because it's so hard to tell what it is. Because it doesn't show up as a neurological disorder, but you'll hear different people say things like they'll say that facial paralysis. One woman claimed she had full body paralysis and things like that, And, it's interesting because when you're watching and you're talking to people, like you'll get a different answer for how everything goes for them, like what they're doing. A lot of people say like with borderline personality disorder, they're cycling their emotions a lot of times. Like I just like reading it on paper makes me just go, oh God, Jesus almighty, what do you deal with every day? This is insane. And then what is it? What's the other one? Now it's DID is what they call it now. Dissociative identity disorder. It used to be called multiple personalities. Okay. So the thing with that is that for the longest time, people thought that was like they're just different personalities. Like there are cases that are like that, but I don't think that's what it falls in. But DID, when I had a person come on the show that actually has DID, if you watch her ever so slightly, her little tics will change. Like the way she starts talking about things, she'll start kind of changing her little tweaks in her personality. That is what DID essentially is. Now, the movie Split is a whole nother case. Like I've heard stories and I've heard an interview where a girl had to diagnose her mom who had 23 different personalities. Now that is, I'm not sure if that falls in the same category. So, but that gets really interesting too, though, because it's like you have that as well. You know, I haven't experienced that on the show, but DID is the one I did get with, is the girl that you can see like her little tweaks and things she does. You know, so it's so fascinating when you get into it, because a lot of times it'll look like one thing, but it's actually another thing. So that's my best advice, you guys. Go talk to somebody, at least get a better understanding of what you're dealing with.
Right. Well, another thing too is it's weird to sit there and hear that like the UK takes 20 years to diagnose. They're behind.
I was fascinated too when I heard that fact too, because I asked her. She's like, "Yeah, it took like 15 to 20 years for somebody to actually respond to me."
I hate to see if we really lost the internet. People already go a bit crazy when it's down a few hours.
Honey, that's funny you say that, because if we lost the internet, I think 90% of these people go lost. Go completely crazy.
We had a pretty horrible storm come through a couple years ago, and we lost power for 4 days. I was actually in bliss. I didn't care for it. I was sitting there. I was outside reading a book, smoking a cigarette. You can look up, you can see infinity, you can see all the stars. The whole town was dark, and I'm like, this is incredible. Meanwhile, a buddy of mine up in Springfield, I'm seeing text messages from him. He's like, I need stimulation. I want my phone on. I want to watch TV.
You know, I think Tyler's bringing up a really good point, guys. When it comes to social media, I unplug a lot of times. So like 5 o'clock in the afternoon, most days during the week, I don't usually respond unless I know it's something important. I think that a lot of you get so sucked into social media. Like TikTok, for example, is a fucking horrible platform when it comes to this.
Yes.
20,000. Oh, so-and-so's live, so-and-so's live, so-and-so's live.
Yep.
It's like, I don't care your fucking life. Stop sending me 50,000 messages. You know, they'll just keep sending them to you and shit. And it's just like, to the point of losing your sanity. I don't. I unplug all the time. I don't go on the internet. There's some days I just don't get on and don't do anything. I'll literally do the show and that's it. I won't appear on the internet after that point. I'll make posts, but a lot of those I've already planned. Like Instagram's great because I can set up stuff for future posts to drop. So that way I'm constantly actively doing something, you know, and I think a lot of people need to practice that. Just like take a break, like see how less controlling it is for your phone, because you get so addicted to it. You're like, oh God, I got to know what's going on. The constant thing, you're constantly looking at your phone and it's like, oh no.
Yeah. And the thing is, too, is you can also do that with the news, because the news nowadays is just 100% depressing. I don't care what side you're on. It's horrible. I'm neutral.
Yeah.
I will take the weekends. I shut my phone. I don't listen to the news. If I don't, unless something comes up. Man.
It's just too much for me some days. It's just like, I was that person who used to watch CNN and all them all the time. Now it's like, I really don't care too much about it. I'll do something else. I'll turn off my phone. I turn it on silent after 5 o'clock. I usually don't look like it. And then the other thing too is like, when you're on the phone and someone's talking to you, try this. Putting it down. It doesn't hurt to pay attention to somebody, you know, to literally pay attention. When they talk to you, put your phone down. Like, stop staring at it. Like, that shit drives me insane.
Put on a speaker, put an earbud in,
Well, no, that's even that just sound I'm talking about. Like, if someone's literally standing in front of you having a conversation, asking you something, my wife will come talk to me. I'll take the phone, I'll turn it straight down. I'll put it down and talk to her and pay attention to what she's saying. Because if not, my ADHD will take off running with me. I'll just never pay. I'll be trying to pay attention, you know, and it depends like how deep you get into it. Like, you know, I've been discovering, I came across a human design plan. It turns out that I'm something called a man generator. I'm actually going to have a guest that comes on who's going to explain all that to everybody, what exactly it all means. But basically, because I take on a lot of projects, so like I have a website I'm working on, I have merchandise that just came out, I have a Patreon. I'm still trying to figure out the society that's against me because I'm trying to put like some episodes and drop the audio earlier for them, and then it'll trickle out with everybody else when it's ready. But Patreon society's just going to post shit for me. I was like, oh, this is great. So I'm like, I take on so many projects once. If people ask me though, when do I sleep? The answer to the question is I never sleep. I sleep sometimes. I take some naps. Like I don't sleep enough. Like I had an expert in sleeping, sleep expert come on that worked with the FBI. She literally was calling me out all the time. She's like, "Did you know your job is carcinogenic?" Or I'm like, "Oh God, here we go." I feel I'm like the whole episode, like you're calling me out. This is not cool. She's like, "Well, I don't mean to. I'm just telling you." I'm like, "Yeah, it's the way you're saying it."
She said your job is a.
Well, she said third shift is very bad for us because think about it. Like you see the sun, so you think you're supposed to be awake. People that work third shift, that's harder for us because we're not programmed that way. We go home and the sun's out, so our brain's thinking we should be awake, so we're trying to fall asleep. So I have like blackout curtains in all my rooms in my house to block out the sun for me. So I trick my brain to think it's nighttime. But she said it's like a known carcinogenic they know now. I was like, well, that's great. Well, why the hell have we done nothing about this now? Like,
it's like now we're starting to. It's just like the mental health crisis. It's like, well, now we know third shift is this. And
oh God, yeah.
What are you gonna do about it? What are you gonna do? Oh, we're not gonna do anything for at least another 30, 40 years.
But this is a woman that works with the FBI. That was interesting, though. Like, we didn't really touch much on what she does, but she just like me and her talked about it off air.
Right.
But she was like, yeah, this is going to be live. We need to stay away from the subject. I'm like, we'll touch it for 2 seconds and then we'll leave. Like, okay, I'm touching you and I'm leaving because it was so interesting though. But she shared it with me then.
Then you have some idiot family member call constantly when they know you're asleep.
Turn the phone in silent works great. Trust me, I do it all the time. I don't answer the phone 90% of the time.
I literally, this is the thing I hate about third shift because I do swing shift at Reynolds. I'm a forklift driver. I hate it when I go to lay down, I go to sleep, and then I'm getting spam calls, and I'll do like you said, I'll put it on silent. But I also put it on vibrate, so in case it's an emergency, all they gotta do is just ring a certain number of times.
Yeah.
And I'll wake up, I'll go to bed I'll stay up and I'll watch the show Steve's on, Morning Disaster.
Yeah.
Till about 9:30 when they log off when I'm on night shift. I'll get off work, get breakfast, listen to Morning Disaster, and then go lay down. And it's like you get like 32 different phone calls from just random people a day. It's like, right? What is it? You guys know. Oh, we don't know your sleep schedule. You know I've worked there 10 years. You should know my damn schedule.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know your schedule.
Is it
the funny thing too is that my family members tell me the same thing. They're like, "Oh, I don't know your schedules." I'm like, I have the same 2 days off for the last 4 years. I think by now you know when the hell I'm off. Let's try this again.
Yeah, but that next excuse. Let's go. Come on.
Yeah, but it's funny though because like I recently my brothers and sisters and stuff said, "Oh, I listened to your show." Okay. And like the one that shocked me the most was my stepbrother. I don't really talk to him much, but he's always so busy doing something. He listened to the show. Actually, the logo is his idea. He came up with a new one for me. He's like, let's refresh your logo. So he sent over the new logo I have now that I have on my profiles and stuff. And he was like, yeah, listen to your show. I like it. He's like, we need to upgrade your show. So the sign, this screen back here, usually that's normally set up. That's because he donated it too. And the light that I used in the, all the different lightings and things like that. This guy sent me a full setup of just stuff. I was like,
oh, wow.
I don't know what I'm going to do with all this, man. I don't have room. Like I'm in a little 2-bedroom duplex right now. But I mean, I make it work though. I use the side bedroom to record a lot of times, and things like that. So, but it's just so interesting to hear when my brothers and sisters reach out to me and go, Liz, you sound so intelligent. Huh? I sound intelligent. Maybe these are the thoughts I've had. You all just don't listen to me because I was the middle child. That whole thing. Like you feel like you're not heard enough, interesting enough. And I'm like, yeah, And it's like, well, listen to your show. It sounds really great. My brother, he works in the mental health field too. He's a nurse. He runs his own department out in Illinois somewhere. I don't know where he's at exactly, but he's over there by. He lives in Plainsfield, so I'm not really sure how far he works away from there, but he does a lot of work with it too. So it's interesting to get his opinion on things.
Right.
Even him telling me, "Oh, hey, you're doing great." I'm like, all I'm doing is having the conversation, man. Like that's how powerful a conversation could be. We've been talking about now, already chiming in on things like that too. It's just interesting. And Steve over here, he's blowing our mind. Like, just wait till we get to that episode, guys. That's going to be a fun one, I'm sure.
Oh, man. I'm looking forward to seeing Steve on for sure.
Right?
I've known Steve since I started podcasting.
Yeah.
And Steve can be very funny. He can be very funny. But I also know that with Steve, there's also a lot of truth behind all that, jokes he makes and whatnot. So, well, Pete, we're going on about almost 2 hours. I know
Right.
you probably got to get to bed. I'm sorry to keep you up late.
No, man, I enjoyed the conversation. You kidding me? I'm always down to talk to people. I love
definitely
it.
got to have you on again for sure. Definitely.
I'm for sure. I'll come back anytime.
And I'm definitely willing to come on. Before you go, I just want to say, I got a question to ask you.
Go ahead.
We're doing this to every podcast we interview. Now, the Best Damn Podcast gets involved with Wrestling for a Cure. That's an organization where 100% of the proceeds go to St. Jude's. Last year, we did the King of the Chat Room title, which we gave to a listener who donated the most. This year, we're taking that contest. We're one-upping it. We're adding a new category. We tried this last year, but there were some podcasts that saw how much was being raised by the other podcast that was winning, which was us, because people like to see me go through pain, and they didn't want to be a part of it. But we're starting over, and I'm going to ask Ian the same thing. We're doing a battle of the podcasts, is what we're calling it. So what it is, we give you a link to set up for St. Jude's. You promote that.
Definitely.
Link. Yeah, you promote that link.
Oh, yeah, hell yeah.
And the podcast that donates and Steve, I know you're watching. I know you have Wake and Bake. Get in touch with me. We can get you set up on this as well. But the podcast that donates, the podcast that gains the most donations by July of next year.
Yeah.
Custom made title belt with their logo on it and everything, and that is theirs.
Dude, I'm down. Yeah, I'm down. Anything for the kids, I'm for, man. You don't even have to even ask me. I'm down 100%.
Yeah, you could literally have I'm just going to pull up your logo real quick. If I see profile picture, I actually think this would be kind of cool.
I think it'd be cool.
You could have that on a title belt. That'd actually be kind of awesome.
Like I said, that's what he sent me. It was so great. He was like, he saw my old logo, which is, very close to my heart because my wife and I, when we were dating, I sent her this weird picture. And the original one was like me doing like something like this or something weird shit I had on there. I was like, yeah,
I am not enjoying the pain, Connie. Shut up. I am not enjoying the pain. But it's like I said, if I can bring 5 minutes of laughter to your life when you're going through hell, that's why.
This is the thing about. Remember, Patch Adams always told us that laughter was always a good thing, good cure, good medicine too. And things like that. And rest in peace, Robin Williams, because that poor guy. If you all have no idea what he dealt with, holy fuck! Could you just imagine like what that man was dealing with? It was the craziest shit ever.
Yeah. I'll tell you the one that hurt me too the most was we lost him, and then a few years later, I went through my own. You know how every generation has that popular musician that passes away. You had Elvis, you had Freddie Mercury, Chester Bennington. That's
an interesting subject though, because his brother claims that it wasn't his own choice, but Chester already knew. Chester already had a record of things like he dealt with a lot of things. Like we don't know what was going on in his head. And musicians are always interesting to talk to. Like I've had so many on. Let's see, I've had Alive and Stone. I've had Lucy North from the band Haunter. She has like 635,000 downloads. Came out and she turned out to be a big mental health advocate. Didn't even know. I was on Instagram one day messaging her. I was like, hey, I sent her a message. I hey, this is a long shot. I run a mental health podcast. I'd love to get your thoughts on it. What do you think about mental health? And she said, actually, I'm a huge advocate. And it was so crazy when she responded because I was losing it because this woman's got like 20,000 followers and she responded to my message and was like, yeah. So Lucy and I talk all the time. I've had Bryce from Pretty Suspect come on. All these different guys that do these bands like Lives Lost as well has been on the show. Tanis and another guy, what was his name? Chad was the guitarist was on. Mm-hmm. We had talked about things. A lot of them, they all talk about mental health in their songs, kind of like Chester did too, So like, it's like he started what a lot of people are doing now. But if you think about it, a lot of people use music as their own cure for their mental health. It's like you're having a rough day, And the thing I always ask people, so here we go. I'm going to ask you a question I ask everybody else, Tyler. So if your mental health had a song, what would it be? And guys in the chat, you can answer this question too. We've had some very interesting responses. I had Susan Snow come on and she's like, well, Pete, you're going to laugh at me. I said, why? She goes, well, it's Rage Against the Machine. I was like, yes, about time somebody said Rage Against the Machine.
If my mental health had a song, one song or like
any song, it could be however you want to break it down. Like mine was, anybody seen Scott Pilgrim's The World? I can't think of the band name that does the intro song. That's when my anxiety kicking up. It's what it's kind of like going on in my head. When I'm really depressed, my wife hates it when I use this song, but it's Turn the Light On, Talk Away the Dark by Papa Roach.
Right.
It's, and then sometimes, when you're really feeling isolated, Iris by the Goo Goo Dolls really sums it up for you too a little bit, because you think about the video where he's just in that tower looking down on everybody.
Right.
It's what it feels like sometimes. You don't. So it could be multiple answers. It really doesn't matter.
You've already got a few right here.
Next gonna give it to you. I love it, Skeletor.
But I know that song.
Oh, okay.
That's actually a good one.
Nice. Chloe, I like it.
Good old
Chloe, definitely reach out to me though. I have a side project I want to talk to you about. See what you think. And we'll discuss it further there. I'll fill you more on what it is and see what you feel about it. And that way, your story can be shared without anybody really knowing that anybody knows what it is.
I would say I'm going to get some flack for this.
Go for it. What is it? It's got to be something. He's going to say
I can't choose just one. I can't.
Tyler's going to say Backstreet Boys or NSYNC. Watch.
No, they could. No. I listened to that shit with my sister back in the 90s, and I hated it.
He liked it. Don't let him lie to you.
No. You ain't lived. You woke up at 5 a.m. by your sister dancing around the kitchen to the fucking Backstreet Boys again.
Oh, no.
I hated that. I'm going to choose 3 if that's okay.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. No, right. There's no wrong answer to this question.
Walk by the Foo Fighters.
Okay.
Highway to Hell by AC/DC.
Yeah.
I don't know why. That's just a good. And then What I've Done by Linkin Park.
There you go.
Connie is saying Down with the Sickness by Disturbed.
There you go. Yes. Down with the Disturbed's really great too, man. The front man for them he's a real big guy too, advocate. My top 5 guests for the show, number 1 was Jacoby Shadex from Papa Roach. I'd love to have him on. I went on this TikTok campaign to try and get their attention. Didn't work, but it's all right. I haven't given up yet. I am actually having one of my top 5 guests on the show. I believe I'd have to look and see when she's going to be on though. Dr. Jen, I can't remember what her last name is. Something with the B, but she'll be on in a couple weeks. I know that much. So I'm looking forward to that conversation too. And things like that too. But the musicians are always great, man. I invite any kind of musicians to come on and talk about it because it's interesting to get their perspective on what they feel like. Because a lot of these times people use their songs to feel better. It's so interesting to see the interaction they have. Another one is number 2. Oh, that's a good one too.
That's a good one. That's a good, and that's got such a great beat to it as well.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm a huge music guy. I think Stain's one of the biggest ones. Epiphany is a big one too. When I'm really feeling depressed, is a good one.
Favorite Stain song?
Stain song would be Epiphany by Stain. Just because it's so like mellow. Or he's like Cold is really good too. Like they sound similar to them. I think A Different Kind of Pain was another one too. There's a funny story I tell people. I'd like if I was going to commit suicide, this is the story. This is the song I would pick, and it's what the hell was it? It's what is that 12-minute song by Cold? They wrote about the fan that had lost somebody, so they had made I think it is Different Kind of Pain. It might be A Different Kind of Pain because it's a very depressing song because it's just so mellow. But I joke with people when I say that, because I've been on the edge. I know what it is. A lot of people that don't know my full story, there's a lot that you'll be shocked when you'll hear a lot of it. Trust me, it gets real ugly.
Right.
But yeah, man, that's a great thing with music, though. It's it's so interesting to talk to some of these people. So I always invite different artists to come on and things like that, just to get their opinion about things, and to see what they say.
And the thing about music too is sometimes that right beat, like for some of the people in the chat room or what we're saying, that right beat when you're going through that depression or you're going through that anxiety, and this is why I use 9 times out of 10 when I'm depressed, that right little beat can be enough to.
Let Me Bleed is another one I really want on the show. Eddie from Let Me Bleed is a really interesting guy. He did. I don't know if anybody's heard the cover he did of what is it, the 10 Statues That Bleed Blood by Bring Me to the Horizon. He did a cover of it. Chef's Kiss. It is amazing. It's so good. I found them on TikTok, funny enough. That's how I met a lot of these guys, just through TikTok. I reached out to them and asked them to be on the show, and I told them what I do. And Eddie's one of the ones that we haven't linked up yet, but it's going to happen. When it does, it's going to be a very interesting conversation because the man is a genius. So if you guys have not heard Let Me Bleed, you need to go check them out right now. They're really cool. He's got really good songs. His new song Ghost came out recently, was really good too. What is it? Lives Lost has a good one too. They have what is that song I'm trying to think of now? They have one that's called I Like Champagne. That's my favorite one they do. Now Tanis will tell you differently. He likes different ones. Pretty Suspect's really great too. They have a lot of really interesting stuff. I listen to a collective of different music, man. I listen to everything. I know Backstreet Boys too, Tyler. In case you ever want to do a cover together, but it's all right.
I'm not doing you are not going to get my fat ass.
Oh my God! Yes, everybody who wants him to do it, let's tell him do it.
I can tell you've been watching the show because now you're starting to pick on me. So
yes.
Oh well.
Listen, you're a Transformers guy. It's okay though. It's all right. You can dress up like Optimus Prime and do the robot if you really want to. It's all right, bud. We're not going to make fun of you.
Oh, at least we called them Transformers and not GoBots like half the chat room in my cat.
I think there were something called. No, it depends what you're watching. You ever seen that movie Clerks where you first him as GoBots? He's like, we need to go. He's like all making fun of shit. Like, anybody wants to know what my job's like, go watch that movie. That's what it's like. The first one, especially, I would like tell people, I'm like you were going to convenience store? Yeah, go watch Clerks. You need to really watch this and tell me how this doesn't apply to our lives. The weird people that come in. How much does this cost? And the big ass sign over their heads. I'm like, oh God. I can't with people. Like, it's just too much, man. People they drive you nuts after a while, though, man. It's just, ugh. But at the same time, it feels so great when people walk up to you and go, listen, I know you do this kind of stuff, so I can tell you these things. Like, I can't tell you how many times that felt so good when people walk up to me like, hey, listen, I listen to your show. I appreciate what you're doing. And it's like, it feels good. I like it when people come and tell me that. I mean, I'm getting over my imposter syndrome where I can't accept the fact that for some reason it's so popular. Like, I think in March alone, I did like 32 interviews. I told somebody that the other day, I did like 32 interviews in the month of March just to try and hammer out a lot of stuff. And it was grueling, but it was great at the same time. I loved it. I loved it, man.
This is not just your hobby. This is your passion.
I love it, man. It's great. I love anytime I can have the conversation, invite people to come talk about their own stories. It's great to watch them feel so empowered by it too, Like, you're changing the world one conversation at a time, and you're having the conversation not enough people are having it, and it's great though. But like I said, if anybody, anybody, guys, that anybody listening that knows anybody wants to be on, to reach out. Like I said, email me. It's probably the easiest way to get me. Hit me on my socials. Sometimes I respond. Instagram seems to be my new base home. I used to be, but I'm on Facebook. That's how Tyler got me though. I've seen his message come through, so I try to respond to you all. I apologize if I don't respond fast enough. I've got a lot going on right now. There's a lot of juggling parts and things like that. You can find me everywhere. I'm pretty much everywhere. I think TikTok, I'm not very big present anymore because they just drive me insane over there a lot of times. All these 50,000 come see my live. I'm like, that's great. I'm busy right now. I don't have time to watch live.
What's your Gmail?
Pete vs. Anxiety pod at gmail.com. If you want to email me to be on the show, send me your story. And make sure you just put, in there, just whatever your name or whatever, just email me and I'll check out the emails and come in. I do have the side project called Voice of the Voiceless. The thing I want to talk to Chloe about a little bit, but basically the idea, guys, is if you have a story you want to share, but you're embarrassed and you feel like you don't want people to know it's your story, but you want to have your story heard, reach out to me. The same thing, email a rundown of what your story is. That way I have an idea what it is. I'll either read your story or I'll let you come on and read your story. It is a strictly audio podcast. So you don't have to worry about it. We will meet in person. You'll see like me and Tyler are here talking. I will pull the audio and ditch the video. And we're going to post it. And then the only thing is when you sign off, it's going to say Voice of the Voiceless. Because basically your story will be heard. You don't have to worry about other people worrying about it's your story. So you can get it out there, get it off your chest, tell whatever you want to say. You can come and tell your own or most personal thoughts. If you have something you want to talk about, if you've had suicidal thoughts, you've been in that situation, you've been to the edge, you want to come talk about it and you want to be heard, but you don't want to be seen. That's a great thing about the side project I'm working on, and it's also the title of my book that's coming up. I'm working on it. I've already started writing it yet, but that's the title. If I decided the title, I haven't wrote it yet, but I figured why not throw it out there as an idea. It was actually a pretty great idea. I was like, you know what? So if you're interested, shoot me an email, hit me up on socials, whatever else. Just let me know that you're interested in doing it. Like, other than that, we'll talk about the details of how it's going to work and things like that too. But, and like I said, if you want to be on the show, I am booked till October. I apologize now. I am honestly about as shocked as you are that it's gotten this far, that I have that many people lined up. Like, literally, if I took all the people that I have now that I've already done, and the other ones I still haven't done, I probably have about a year or two's worth of content alone just stopping right there. But why stop there when I can collect some of the other stories and continue to, share them and things like that too. So
right, you're popular. You're hitting it. You're hitting it big.
I'm super popular, and it's kind of weird. It's so real for me, man. It's just weird. I just I don't take my own fame to my heart. I'm not very egotistical with it. the Juggernaught thing was funny because I told Tyler about it. Because somebody said the Juggernaught of mental health. I'm like, oh, that's a new title for me. Awesome. Here we go.
Hey, if you win that Battle of the Podcast belt, you raise a lot of money for Wrestling for Cure. We'll get put on the nameplate for sure. The Juggernaught of mental health.
Like I said, anything for the kids, man. At the end of the day, I'm down for any kind of good cause like that too, man. I'm always down for it. I'm down. Yeah, let me know where I go and set it up so I can start promoting it because I'm down.
Yeah, we'll talk after.
Without even a question. Without even a question, I'm down for it. It doesn't even matter. But yeah, it's awesome though. Like I said, guys, reach out. Don't be afraid to talk to me.
Yes.
I'll answer you. It may take me a minute, but I will respond to you. Trust me. I try to respond to everybody. Sometimes it takes me a little bit, so I do apologize. I'm just, I've got a lot going on, obviously, 20 different projects and things. So, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, with that, I'd say we are good to end this podcast. Pete, this has been amazing. You can check out Pete versus Anxiety. I'm going to tell you guys right now, it's a great podcast. You can get in touch with Pete if you want.
We're on Spotify all the way down to iHeartRadio, guys. Anywhere you listen to your podcast, I'm on YouTube and all the other great places. And just remember what I always tell people, don't ask your day. Ask, hey, how's your mental health today?
Yeah, there you go. Obviously, look after each other. Mental health is a serious issue we are facing in this country. And the best way to fight it is to first start talking about it. First way to address a problem is to realize you have a problem. That's the best way to do it. So, Pete, I wish you the best of luck with your podcast.
Thanks, buddy. I appreciate having me on. I'm definitely looking forward to coming back.
Definitely going to have you back. And I definitely look forward to coming on your show.
For sure.
And who knows? Maybe you're going to take home a title belt. Maybe I'll be mailing a belt to Dallas at some point.
Hell yeah.
Who knows?
That's right.
All right, everybody. You can check out Pete. When are you broadcasting next? What's your next show?
Monday, 10 a.m. is every week I do one 10 a.m. and 3 p.m. on Mondays. They're my live shows.
All right, there you go. So you catch them Monday live at 10 a.m. and 3 p.m. on Facebook. You get them on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
You get them on Spotify.
Facebook, YouTube, Twitch. I'm on everything. I'm on Rumble. All those great sites, guys.
Oh, so you pay for the whole StreamYard package, don't you?
We'll talk about that. We'll talk about it in a minute.
Okay. All right, everybody. Make sure you check them out. Tell them the Best Damn Podcast sent you. If you want to be a guest or talk to Pete, there's his email right there. Pete versus Anxiety Pod @gmail.com. Pete, thank you very much. It's been an honor and pleasure.
It's an appreciation, man. I appreciate having me coming, guys. Y'all have a great one.
All right, and you guys enjoy your weekend. We'll see you Wednesday. So long, everybody.